Greetings, world. Hope you are doing well on this fine morning. Comes recommended that you try and do well. Um, Stay safe and all that good stuff. We are going to stream some D&D, so let's get into that. So, you guys were diving into an ancient dungeon looking for all sorts of good stuff, interesting things that are beautiful, things that have historical significance. You're working for an order known as Obscura. And Obscura is a collection of researchers, museum curators, other sorts of things, and historians who are hoping to uncover secret history of Priam, the country where you guys are in, and more specifically things about who Akarut was and what Akarut did and all that stuff. They think that this is Akarut's tomb. They're not really certain. You've seen evidence to point in that direction, but scientists tend to like a lot of proof. You were down there hunting for stuff, looking for things successfully, might I add, mostly. When one of your allies was killed by a shaman who was me. And on your way out, having found someone who was lost in time and trapped inside the dungeon for quite some time, for an unspecified long length of time, you guys made your way out of the dungeon and bumped into some people who worked for an organization, a rival organization, one of the many rival organizations that wanted to get you guys wants to search the dungeon, but they're doing it for profit rather than for history. They're known as Hubert Songshore Enterprises, named for Hubert Songshore, who was a famous businessman turned politician. And they did not like that you had all this stuff, and they didn't have any stuff. So they asked you for a tithe, give us stuff, basically. And you guys said no. So they captured you all. It did not go well. They were not necessarily substantially more powerful than you, but you guys were all exhausted because you had just spent an entire day mining in a tomb, and they had not. They were fresh. And so they took you guys out, but for the brilliant move of your rogue, who is awesome, you guys would have been captured and who knows what. But Lyra feigned unconsciousness and escaped their grasp, because awesome. And then proceeded to make a deal on your guys' behalf with a certain shady wizard dude who's hanging out with you guys a little bit, and requested that he help her. And she then used his abilities to help break you guys all out of Hubert Songshore Enterprises' awful corporate prison. So you guys have all broken free of that and had a long rest, and you guys wake up the next day, and that is where we are. So what the heck do you want to do?
There's one thing actually, for Tis. If I remember correctly, Lyra had left to pay her dues, I guess, to the Goblin Wizard, this snooty guy.
Yes.
Yeah, while she's gone, I'd like to leave a sum of gold on her cot in her room, in her partition.
You'd like to leave? Sorry, what? Tell me that.
A sum of gold.
Okay.
Yeah. There was a specific amount. Let me check. It's gonna be 229.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why are you leaving that much?
She saved our lives. She saved mine, but more importantly, she saved the whole party's life. And I know it couldn't have been free. And I don't know that she paid someone. I don't know that she worked with anyone else, but it couldn't have been free. So yeah, for that reason.
That happens. I like it. Yeah. So you leave 229 gold.
Yeah.
On Lyra's bed. Lyra's cot. Okay. Excellent. Lyra, when you get back, there's a pile of gold on your cot.
I'd put it in like a pouch or something. I wouldn't just leave it loose. Like, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. There's a pouch with 229 gold in it on your cot.
I'm just gonna kind of walk up to it and see if I can identify why it's there or who's put it there.
Yeah, it's just a pouch filled with gold.
Is anyone else still in there? Like, is Tiss or anything still there?
Tiss would be in a different room. Your room is, it would be you and Celia's room, so Celia might be there. Celia, are you there?
Yeah, but by this time I think I'm asleep, so.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just gonna walk out and I'll walk over to the other two's rooms and just and see if they're awake.
Yeah. Are you guys awake?
Just would be.
Okay.
I'm gonna sleep in.
Tiss, do you know who's put this pouch of gold on my bed? I've just found it there.
I've just recalled that, I can't lie. Yes. Yeah, I know who put it there.
Oh, how come? Bit odd.
You saved our lives. You saved all of our lives. And it must have cost something. I don't know what, but it took some doing, and it took a measure of cunning on your part. And at the very least, I want to pay you for your services.
It cost something that I don't think gold could buy, but I was more than happy to do it, and you don't need to pay me for it.
Can I do an ocular pat down and see if she is missing anything?
Yeah, please roll a perception check.
Can do. There it is.
Yeah, you know, I don't think she had it for very long on her, so it's not like something that was standardly on her, right? Because you actually only recovered it technically yesterday, and then were captured like about 30 minutes to an hour later. So it's really not, she hasn't had it for forever. But she used to have a dagger with a blood groove in it that was magical that you guys found in the tomb.
I'll keep that to myself for the time being. Yes, I figured you gave up a lot. It's not, that doesn't make up for it, but it's something. I don't want to not reward you for. You didn't have to come for us. That's I mean, I know around here people tend to be cutthroat, and we're learning a lot more cutthroat than we knew. But I appreciate people caring about each other enough to save their lives. It's a lot. It's a lot.
I'm glad. You saved my life many a time, so I'm glad I could repay the debt.
I was gonna say it wasn't me, but I can't really do that anymore. But yeah, okay. Do you have any plans? Is there anything that you want to do? I suppose we have to go back to the tomb, but if we're gonna go, I don't want to go too deep. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. Do we want to do anything in honor of Mochi before we go back to him?
I hadn't considered that. Usually I do something with the remains, but given the circumstances. Did you have any ideas?
I wasn't sure. Maybe just announcing it to a couple of people to see if anyone can say a few words.
Maybe a toast at the pop-up tavern.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea.
Sounds like a plan. I'll let El Tigre know.
Oh, I'll let Celia know later.
Just we'll go back to their cot.
And I'll return to our room. Well, Celia and mine, but...
Beautiful. So, you guys all get a long rest in, and you wake up the following morning. And as you wake up, you are told by Bialor. He comes into your guys' rooms. Actually, he stands outside, sort of between the rooms, so that you both can hear him. Both groups can hear him, and says, "Everyone, it looks like there's some sandstorm issues. We should probably be staying not in the tomb today. Perhaps you can travel a little bit around the surface, but going into the tomb, that's well, we're doing our best, but the sand is just getting everywhere, and sandstorms are scary. I'm going to be spending the day uncovering and constantly redigging out the tent where we live. But you know,
to be perfectly honest, Bialoi, that is welcome news. I know we have to, but I don't ever want to go back into that tomb.
Thalia just goes up to Bialdor and says she'll help dig out throughout the day.
Your assistance is welcome. I am grateful, Celia.
I'll join you guys too.
Yeah, so we've got a day above ground. It's probably actually not going to take all day to dig with the three of you. It's more like you want to do an hour now, and then like an hour in the afternoon, and then an hour in the evening, because the sandstorm, you have to sort of let it build up before you can just dig away beneath everything. But you know, that's something. Yeah. So what is your guys' intention over the course of this day? You can do this is sort of free time to do what you want. For your players or for your characters to become ambitious for something or want to accomplish something, you've got time to make that happen.
I think Celia is pretty shook from what happened, obviously, but mainly about what she's heard Adis's attitude was about her. So she's kind of quite confused right now, but she also realized from losing Mochi, she doesn't actually know a lot about the people she's working with. So I think she would probably propose some kind of like getting to know each other, team building thing. Don't know.
Yeah, how would everyone respond to that? If Celia says, "Hey, let's go do," I don't know, what would Celia suggest?
Nothing extravagant. Probably just like sitting and talking to each other. But
perhaps at the pub.
She wants to know what kind of people she's working with.
Sounds like fun.
Sounds like it could be fun. Yeah, I'm in.
Lyra and I had talked about going to the pub to have a drink to Mochi.
Sounds perfect. We'll do that.
That was your friend that didn't make it out of the tomb, correct?
Yes, it was a friend that was taken from us.
Ah, I don't know if it would be okay if I were to join you on this, just because, you know, I didn't exactly know your friend, but I'm more than willing to go help and just continue on with it.
I appreciate that.
The more the merrier.
Okay. She would want you there.
Oh, he sounds like a nice fellow. So.
Okay. So you all make it to the pub. This is actually the first time you guys have been to this pub. It's got two sections, one of which is closed right now because it's outdoors, and the other which is indoors. But they built sort of like, again, it's this prefab stuff. It's this like business prefab organization. But the way that this is built up, it sort of has like an indoor bar and then like sort of an open area that's like right now it's closed, so like the wind and sand won't get in, but normally it's open to like a courtyard with all these like sort of picnic table style things that one would sit at, and then they have like overhangs, so cloth overhangs to keep the sun out a little bit, but to keep the cool air in. But inside is definitely where it's at. It's very crowded right now. It's very clearly this place is designed not to be it's not really designed for the sandstorm. Like when the sandstorm's not there, it's more than triple the size that it is normally, but its occupancy is still very crowded because people want to drink. So you guys go there and like you can just hear there's a lot of people buzzing, there's a lot of noise being made, there's a lot of just people are chatting and like, what are you gonna have? You know, that sort of stuff is just going on constantly. Mostly it's booze and fruits and nuts and cheese. That's sort of what they sell. Booze, fruits, nuts, and cheese. But it's good stuff. Relatively good fare. They've learned that they can probably make a good profit here, selling these sorts of things to people going into the tomb.
It's Sorry, go ahead.
Go for it, Tis.
It's crowded. Is it, like under 100 heads?
Yeah, it's under 100 heads.
Okay.
Probably like 85.
Perfect. You were saying something, Celia?
Yeah. About the building itself. It's a prefab like the Hubert Songshaw ones.
Yes.
Can you tell if it's the same kind of make of building, I guess, or is it
roll an investigation check? Yeah, all of the prefab walls have a logo on them that says HSE, or Hubert Songshore Enterprises. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that the tavern is owned by Hubert Songshore Enterprises. That just means that whoever owns the tavern bought the materials from Hubert Songshore Enterprises. Yeah. It's a little bit like seeing a I don't know, what's an equivalent thing? I don't know. Whatever. It's like seeing a logo on something. It doesn't mean that it's owned by that person. It's like a made in China logo. Oh. Yeah, it's like a made in China logo. But yeah, this is definitely Hubert Songshore Enterprises has made these things called prefab materials, and people are utilizing them to build up things quickly, and they're relatively effective.
We'll head up to the bar.
Yeah, there's a bartender there. Goblin looks up at you and says, "My, you're a tall one from Chalestra?"
Yes. How did you know?
Just a guess. Looked at you, saw someone who didn't seem to like sand, figured you liked water.
That's me exactly. It's coarse, it's irritating, gets everywhere. I hate it. What manner of drink do you have here?
Sorry.
It's okay.
I wasn't prepped for the Star Wars reference. Okay. Back to it.
Yes, bartender. Good morrow, I should say. But what manner of drinks do you have here? Of the alcoholic variety?
Well, what are you looking for? We've got all sorts of beers is what's most popular here, sort of a thick beer thing that people drink.
Kind of
whatever
a grog.
It is. Yes, and then I don't know. I'm a cocktail mixologist specialist. I mix drinks with these fruits and liqueurs, and I try to make flavors that you've never tasted before that will refresh your spirit in these hot, balmy days.
Do you have any mixed drinks that use local fruits, like desert fruits?
Yes, all of them.
Okay. So the people that I've just come in with, I want one of those for each of them, and then I'd like a round for the whole tavern, if that's acceptable.
You're gonna buy a round of mixed drinks for the whole tavern?
No, of beer.
Of beer for the whole tavern. Sure.
We're commemorating something, not to treat them differently. We're here to toast a lost friend. I wanted to get something special for them, but I would like drinks for the tavern.
You die in the desert or in the tomb?
In the tomb.
That's rough, man. Dangerous business, spelunking. Yeah, of course. No problem. I'll give you a discount. And he winks at you.
I appreciate that.
Says it'll be 17 gold for the round for everyone, and then 4 gold for your people.
Does that put us at 21?
21 total, yeah.
I give him 50.
Mm-hmm. It takes it and says, "Is that for 2 rounds or?"
Sure. Make it 2 rounds and keep whatever's left over.
Yeah, and he leans over and grabs a thing, grabs a rope on the wall, and he pulls it, and this bell starts ringing, and everyone looks up to him, and he says, "All right, these fine folks have bought you a couple of rounds of drinks, and these are to commemorate a lost friend. What's your friend's name?"
Mochi.
"I want everyone to toast Mochi with this drink, okay? Mochi was their friend, and they're buying you all this booze. So toast him." And you hear a cheer from the bar. Hurrah! And he starts immediately just pouring beers, and he says, "There's a table in the back. You can go find a seat over there." And he points to the corner.
Thank you. And I'll head nod over. I'll look toward the group and then head nod in that direction and start heading that way.
It takes a couple minutes before your booze is delivered. He's got to pour, 85 beers. And then comes on over to you guys and brings your mixed drinks and puts them all down and says, I'm sorry for your loss. I hope he's in a better place or whatever. And he turns and walks away. So the four of you are sitting around this table. What do you want to do? What do you want to talk about?
Tis will raise their glass, or whatever it's in, and say, to a being of pure chaos.
We'll just clink glasses, I guess. Toast Meiji.
Your friend seemed like a nice fellow. It's a shame I didn't get to know him.
He was.
How long did you know him for? It seemed like you knew him more than the rest of the people here.
Above game, how long do you think it was, Jack?
I'm saying like a good amount of time, because it's like it was immediately after the shipwreck, so I was like, I'd say like approximately half of a lifetime for
Yes,
Mochi, which I don't know.
It's like 10 years.
I knew him most of his time here. I think in the neighborhood of a decade.
That's unfortunate. I'm sorry for your loss. It's a shame. I do not know much about this tomb because I don't really, and I just put my hand to my head. I don't really know anything about this place, but it seems like a lot of people have died and lost their lives in the tomb.
We don't have a count, but several have.
And why is everybody going inside of the tomb, anyways?
Curiosity, mainly.
That's a good question.
Well, you know the old saying, curiosity killed the jaguar.
Sally's going to change the topic and turn to Tis and ask him, why did you come over from Chalestra in the first place?
I had spent time on merchant ships, and we'd actually come this way before. We'd gone a few places, but Obscura contacted me, and it seemed like a good opportunity, a way to improve my station. I'm honestly not sure. I think I would have been just as happy just staying on the merchant ships.
Oh. They
What?
contacted you personally?
Matt, I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, I mean, we can sort of determine that in character. If you think that that's interesting, then go for it. I don't really have a dog in that fight. I know that when you and I talked about Tis, one of the things you talked about was the idea that Tis was short work because
Yes, yeah.
Chalestra was Chalestra is having like some economic difficulties in general. Shocking to no one who's watching my Monday game. But yeah, between that, yes. So work was scarce.
Yes, I was about to fall in hard times. I think the temple would have taken care of me regardless, but it doesn't pay. Being a priest, being a hand of Yemis doesn't pay, really. And when I couldn't find merchant work, they were the first to contact me. And I took it.
It's good to know you've got people out there for you.
Yeah, I do. It is good to know that. What about you? Why are you here?
I just saw the advert and thought it'd be a good way to spend my time.
Were you right?
I think I've learnt a lot.
I think we all have. What about you, Lyra?
I know someone close to me who's quite ill, and I've heard that this to may well have some kind of cure. So I'm trying to see if I can find something like that.
Is it something like what Nollery has?
That's what I thought when I first met her. It was like uncannily quite similar. So I'm not quite sure. I have tried to get some information from her, but I don't really remember anything.
Tis will smack.
Actually, sorry, I want to jump in here for 1 second. Lyra, can you roll a wisdom saving throw for me?
Sure. And it all goes downhill from here. Yeah.
Okay. Nothing happens.
Tis will pat El Tigre on the back. We all know why you're here, friend. I think you'll succeed here. I think you'll find more challenges than you can scratch at.
So he's going to turn to Jack and just ask.
El Tigre, turning to El Tigre. Sorry.
Yeah,
not Jack. El Tigre.
Sorry.
No worries.
Do you know how you got there in the first place?
It's difficult to say because my memory is very piecemeal, but as far as I know, I was wandering around the forest and I ended up coming into contact with a dryad. And I've never seen a dryad before. It's something that I really, really am. It was an experience. I mean, I don't know if you've been underground for who knows how many tens, but it was a very difficult time. But I mean, it was a lesson learned. And when I awoke, I was here in a different place, a different land, at a different time. So I'm just kind of trying to deal with it right now. And with you guys, do you guys know the local land or anything about this place that I would find particularly helpful?
I think Celia grew up quite close to the desert in Prion.
Yep.
So she might know a few things, but...
Yeah, what are you looking for, El Tigre?
Like above game, just I guess kind of flavor. So whatever you guys kind of know about it, describe the world. So considering that it's like an entirely, I think from his perspective, it would be an entirely new world. Like it's not a place that he's ever been or seen, and it's different from where he was originally.
El Tigre is human, right?
Yes.
Is he Chalestran? Like ancient Chalestran? Hey.
Roll a perception check.
Ooh. 11.
Definitely not.
Oh.
His accent is not Chalestran. His skin tone would be unusual for Chalestra. He is something else.
El Tigre, do you know what country you're from, or what it was called when you had last been there?
Absolutely. I'm from the great and proud people of... And then he pauses, and he just sort of looks around and goes, I'm from the proud people of... That may be a slight issue.
Save that for another time, I guess.
I know a few things. I remember it was a great, grand city made of beautiful, beautiful trees in the forest, and there were wonderful architecture. It's like stuff you had never seen before. We had populated a very dense and moist jungle, and we had created our houses on top of giant trees, bigger than 10 men across. And it was a lovely home.
By Amos.
So, And the only other thing I remember is there was once a story, a famous story that I remember quite well. This is the only thing that I think has not been impacted by my time underground. But there was once a famous and confident warrior, La Brava, and he went among other people and he fought 12 tigers at once. A jaguar walked up to him and then walked away. They knew that they were no match for him to fight. Any mortal man, beast, or anything in the jungle was no match for this magnificent man. And when I was young, I aspired to be like him. I fought my first tiger when I was this is becoming a little bit more of an issue. I don't remember. I was I young? Was I this is painful.
It doesn't change that you did it.
I did, and I collected its pelt and I wear it to this day. So
it must be a point of pride. It should be.
It is. And I wear it as a symbol for others, so that I may be like La Brava and understand that I will be the hero for others.
Well, you have one down, 11 more to go, and one jaguar to turn away.
One of these days. Although this doesn't seem like a place where I'd find many jaguars.
No, I think not. It's a desert climate. That's what I know. I know the ports better than I know the land, and we only know the tomb in this camp, really. There's cacti.
Oh, I love cacti.
Sand.
Oh, I tell you what, if you take cacti and you mix it in a very special way, take a little bit of tree powder. Oh, that is a fun time.
We'll have to try that sometime.
Oh yes, you will be out of your mind for days. I once ate an entire cactus raw by itself, and I woke up 40 miles away from my village.
Sorry, well that makes me think of like Sokka and Avatar: The Last Airbender having like that cactus, and that's exactly what I'm imagining.
Exactly. You're 100% right on that.
Just ayahuasca.
Secret tunnel through
Yep.
the mountains. That was a great show.
Truly the best. So yeah, does anyone have more that they want to tell LT Gray about Prion? Does anyone want to say anything to him about it? I can do a little lore dump here if people want, but if there's anything in character that people want to say, I know that part of the goal of today is some sort of bonding.
Salia will suggest that she doesn't know a lot about the place she grew up in, mainly because she spent most of her time in the seedy sides of town. So she doesn't really know much about the actual workings of that world.
At this point, do you have like a combat-focused recap of their time here? Mm-hmm. Starting with the little sand demons.
Sure.
Lots of bags.
Yeah.
Lots of stories about bags.
Oh, little kitty.
That's stream.
So cute.
Okay. Yeah. So Tis gives like a combat-focused recap. Yeah. Lyra, how do you feel about Tiss's recap? Tiss's recap is like basically a list of things that you guys have slain. Does that feel like a good summary of the land to you?
I'm just going to go with it. Yeah, I'll just be like, yeah, that sums up well enough.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh my god, stop moving.
So cute. Love it.
Just adorable.
Mm-hmm. It's the best cat.
Okay.
You know what I'm going to probably look for above the tavern before we go anywhere for combat is I'm probably going to look for oil and something like a lighter.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I think the shops are closed right now because of the sandstorm. Everyone's sort of things. The only shops that are open are really the bar. Most people are staying indoors and all that sort of good stuff.
Do you ask us for it? Because I've got an explorer's pack. I would assume I have a light.
Oh yeah, I think it has a flint thing.
Yeah, if you have flint and steel, that'd be really good. And what's it called? I could actually use alcohol. So
Sure.
like, I'm thinking something like Uncle Eero. So that would be funny. And like last ditch resort, I could just light myself on fire and start grappling people.
Nice.
Celia kind of turns to him and goes, "If you're ever looking for a light," and she just kind of holds out her hand and uses control flames to.
That's really cool. Back in my village, we didn't have many, if at all, sorcerers. So it's kind of a interesting thing to see. I mean, we were very in tune with the spiritual side of nature, but it wasn't exactly a how you say spell casting type of place. So what other things can you do?
I can. She kind of flounders for a second, and then just kind of goes, "I can do this," and then uses mold earth and just makes a hole in front of us.
So the pile of sand just disappears next to the table, and the bartender comes over and says, "You're gonna put that back?"
Oh, sorry, and she just puts it back.
This is a place of business. I don't want people tripping and breaking their necks. It'll scare off the next customer. Well, probably not that much. It is booze, but you know, it might scare off a customer. Okay, and we don't want them dying.
She's kind of like hiding her face in shame now. She's like, "Sorry."
It's okay. I don't think we meant or will kill anybody, and we'll keep everybody in here safe. So,
You guys like the drinks?
Immensely, yes.
Would you like another round?
Do you have anything cactus for us?
Cactus, eh? Looking for
Yes.
something to wet your whistle?
Yes. Can you make cactus and tree bark?
No tree bark around here.
Oh, are there no trees?
Not the kind that you get bark from. This is a desert, dude.
Oh, okay.
Didn't you travel here? This is desert in every direction for miles upon miles upon miles.
I've never been to a desert. I'm sorry.
Right. Okay. Wood is expensive here.
I have, and I'm just going to count like gold pieces in my hand. I have 10 gold pieces.
I mean, it's too expensive for it to be worth it for me to keep it.
Okay, I understand.
You think there's a market for wood-based things? Because most people don't eat wood, you know. It's not that tasty.
Don't know.
I mean, like, I can chew it, and he like smiles and shows you his massive collection of weirdly shaped goblin teeth. And he's like, I can chew it or whatever, but like, I don't think people really like the taste of wood. Is it good for you?
It's not necessarily for the taste. You mix it in with a cactus, and it creates a how do you say? Halogenic. It creates a halogenic.
Well, I'll bear that in mind, Tiger Man. That's what I said, Tiger Man.
Yes.
I'll just get you another round of the stuff that you already have. Is that okay?
Alrighty. So, if you do get any tree bark, let me know.
Sure. I'm not going to get any tree bark.
I'll give them another 50. I imagine that should cover it. Anything else? Just another round for the tavern. Have they had their second round yet?
Yeah, some people are just finishing it up, but you want 2 more rounds for them or just another round?
Whatever that will cover, the 50 on top of our round.
Okay, well, there you go. Sure. Booze for everyone again. He turns to the tavern and raises his glass that he's taken from you. It's empty, right? And raises the tavern and says, "Hey, everyone, Tomochi!" And the whole tavern turns and screams, "Tomochi!"
You know, you fight a lot for being royalty, Tess.
Royalty? Oh God, no. I'm peasantry, if anything. I guess not technically that, but not noble in the slightest. What gave you that impression? Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's rare that I see a peasant buying drinks for an entire tavern 3 times over.
Well, to be frank, you can make a lot of money going into the tomb. And that's
really?
more, yeah. I mean, I like the people around here. I haven't met all of them, but I like them. And the drinks are to a certain end. If you stick around, you'll see.
Yes. If they're anything like you guys, then it's definitely going to be a, what's it called? It's definitely a good place to try to hang out.
Do be careful, though. As we've seen, there's some snakes in this reef, so to speak.
And I'm just gonna look at you questioningly if that was like a race-based thing, because I think you're a wizard. I don't.
It is a little bit.
Lizards. I'm like, how tall are these snake people that I have to avoid?
No. It's a figure of speech. There's some bad faith players, some bad faith actors among us, as there always is, but yeah, just watch out.
Okay, because I've been on this place for less than a day and I've already seen some stuff. So
me too, yeah. No snake folk yet. I'm not ruling it out.
Alright.
It's probably a good idea not to rule it out. Okay. Yeah, so someone enters the tavern. And they sort of enter dramatically, right? They enter and block out the sun behind them, and the bartender sort of says, "Hey, close the door. We don't want too much sand getting in here." And the person just sort of nods and quietly closes the door and walks over to the bartender and takes a drink, one of the drinks that you guys bought. And like he looks confused, and the bartender points over to you guys, and he looks at you and walks over. It's a goblin, and he pulls up a seat and just sits down at the table with you guys. And it's when he sits down that you all recognize him as a certain goblin monk that attempted to prevent your escape last night and was involved in your guys' capture.
Sally's gonna very pointedly roll her eyes at him.
It's you! How are you, friends?
He just sits there quietly and takes a sip of his drink.
Talkative, are we?
You escaped.
Yes.
Thought we did.
It was well done.
I appreciate that. It was all due to our friend over here. And I'm going to point to Lyra.
How'd you pull it off?
It wasn't hard to trick you guys.
I happen to know that's not true.
Not
Maybe
really,
you're
what makes you
not
that?
as good as you think you are.
I wouldn't think that way. Your overconfidence will be your undoing. You know who you're going against?
Does it matter?
He just kind of like sits back and just looks up and down at him.
Not me.
I mean, Songshore.
Yes.
And yes, I know what kind of person I am going against, and that's enough.
Why go against someone like that?
Simple. Safety. There's no need for an outside threat when something so mindless and dangerous as the tomb exists.
Longshore views himself as bringing security and safety here.
He's mistaken. He secures wealth for himself. He's acquisitive. There's a big difference between that and being a protector or whatever he fancies himself as.
And so you see yourself as a protector?
No, I see myself as capable of mitigating the threat that people like him pose.
Of what were you speaking? And he takes a sip of his drink.
Well, we were talking about why we're all here.
Why are you all here?
To learn, to grow, to advance ourselves and our knowledge.
Self-development. That's something I can understand.
I can imagine. And then Tis will flashback in their head to, like, being stunned and almost being rolled by this one person, like our whole party. They believe that. Yeah.
Hey, you here, friend. You haven't tried to kill us yet.
Why would I try to kill you?
You know, honestly, that's a good question. Why did you try to kill me before?
I didn't.
Why did you try to impede us?
It was my job. And therefore my identity at the time.
You say was. Is it not your job anymore?
My job was to prevent people from leaving the compound. You have already left the compound.
What is your job here now?
I'm just getting a drink.
Could you maybe get that drink somewhere else?
Wait, hold on. I think we have a possibility here. Let's have a little bit of fun. Let's say you, me, and Tis were to fight. But before you get up, not normally. Have you heard of arm wrestling? And the two of you, and I'm just going to point to Celia and Lyra, you're welcome to join in. I just don't know how, effective it might be.
Salia just kind of looks at him and just kind of, what are you doing?
I'm going to go, everybody! And I'm going to motion to the tavern, right? And this is going to be like a performance type thing. And I'm going to go, everybody, let's go! And I'm going to gather like a circle of people.
Yeah, cool. Roll a performance check.
All right, let's see.
Are they more easily swayed by being having been sauced up?
Yeah, I'll agree that they're more easily swayed. So a group of people sort of gather around and look at you guys. And he looks at you and says, "Friend, you are more than twice my size."
I'll go easy on you.
What about our wizard here? She isn't more than twice your size.
Ooh, true. You will fight her first.
Oh, no. I'm okay. I will...
Oh, come on. And I'm going to, push her towards...
Okay.
It's good for the soul.
For the soul.
Never back away from a challenge.
Tis is going to cast something really quick. Not sure what. Hold on.
Oh, that's dirty.
Yeah.
Better hope I don't see that.
It wouldn't be a saving throw, would it? Arm wrestling. Okay, never mind. Tis doesn't cast
It'd be
anything.
a contested strength, right?
That makes sense.
Contested athletics, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Celia, are you gonna participate in this arm wrestling challenge against our goblin monk?
I've kind of been backed into a corner now, so yeah.
Peer pressure, hooray!
But yeah.
Yeah. So he just puts his arm on the table and his shoulder and looks down at it and then holds out his hand and sort of stretches it. You hear it crack. His goblin joint's a little bit long. And he just sort of holds his arm out.
Okay. Thalia trying not to look intimidated, but very much is. Does the same.
So the way this works is it's a series of contested rolls until someone wins by above a certain percent, basically. So he looks at you and closes his eyes and he exhales deeply.
Oh, God.
And then he waits for for El Tigre to say go.
All right, so I'm gonna, let's see, do I have any? Okay, I do. There we go. All right. On my mark. 1, 2, 3, go!
All right. So you guys each start pushing simultaneously. You see the monk spend a key point and get advantage on his checks and gets a natural 20.
Oh, shit!
Celia, would you like to roll an athletics check? Because you can still cause it not to be over.
Oh, man. See,
Okay, can I use lucky?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, dude.
19. Yeah, so just immediately the monk just pushes your hand like down almost all the way. You're barely holding on at this point, and he's just like looks at you and says, "Are you ready to give up yet?"
She's putting most of her effort into this, so she just squeaks out like a no.
That's a fighting spirit.
And pushes again. Let's do it again.
Oh, dear.
Oh my god.
Bam! And it just punches your arm into the ground and into the table. And that's that. The crowd cheers. LT Grid, did you do anything to pump up the crowd?
It was a good effort. You did great, everybody. Hurrah!
I didn't.
1, 2, 3. Hurrah!
Hurrah! Yeah, the crowd goes wild. People are down. People are excited.
I didn't anticipate him being able to use key points for stuff for this. Yeah, that's hubris right there.
Well, it is sulking.
So much for needing
right. Asma, your turn.
I have like a -1 strength modifier.
Oh, I'm not.
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to do this with all of you. This
All
is,
right.
You ask a lot. I
just
was curious to see who you guys were. That's it.
One more, me and you, but we'll put some money on this one.
I have no money.
That's okay. I'll put money on it for you. A gift from me to you, for your politeness.
It
And
was a pleasure meeting you. And he stands up and starts to walk away. The crowd looks disappointed.
Before he's out the door, Tis will call out to him. Just like, hey, why are you here?
To find purpose. And then he walks out the door.
We never got his name.
But we know he's great at arm wrestling.
His name is Goblin Monk for now.
That's what it's been in my head.
Yeah, and I think Perius comes in to the bar and sees you guys. Actually, I think he was already in the bar, and he sees you guys, and he comes on over and says, wow, that was quite the show you put on there. He demolished your wizard. That doesn't exactly surprise me. Not that your wizard is not strong for a wizard, but she's still a wizard.
Stronger than I am.
Hi, Celia. How you doing?
Measure.
Okay, well, Celia was very happy to see him, and now is very offended and starts sulking again.
Hey, to be fair, we get free food because of that.
We get
quite
free food
your...
and lodging.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. People love the show. But you already have lodging. Yeah, and you get a round of drinks for free. People buy it free because they're excited about everything. And Perius just sort of looks at you and says, That's Songshore's monk, right?
Yeah, it's the one that did what you saw to me.
Jeez. That was a wicked thing that you went through.
It's unlike anything I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
Still here, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's a weird one. Okay. Well, nice chatting with you all. Too bad we can't go back into the tomb, right? Sandstorms. Ugh.
Well, no. So, eventually it will clear up, and then we will be ready to adventure again.
Yeah. We'll go back to being friendly competitors. And he looks at you all and says, you know, not immediately, just soon. And he smiles.
We still owe you the one trip in, don't we?
Yep. You make it your next one, then you won't owe me for very long. See what you get, give it to me. Minus your one item. That was a good deal.
Yeah, we'll honor that soon.
There you go. Oh, it's good to see you all. If you need anything, let me know. Happy to help.
Absolutely, friend.
And he leaves. I think Nalri is also here with some of her assistants. She's in the corner opposite you guys. She's got sort of her people just sort of taking care of her. She sits there hunched over, looking ancient and decrepit, and a raspy cough just comes through her every once in a while and sort of is as raspy as the dust outside. And people just bring her water and fruit juice, not infrequently. Just so you guys know that she's there. Adius is not there, though.
Good.
Is Seropia around?
Seropia is not around. She's currently with Adius, actually.
Okay.
She's currently what? Sorry.
With Adius, in his tent. Okay. Yeah, anything else that you guys want to do while you're here? Anyone you want to check in with? Anyone you want to chat with? Anything you want to accomplish?
Tis does have something they want to do in the tavern. Do we get the bartender's name?
You did not.
Okay.
But his name is... Let me see. I have it in my notes here.
I can do it in character too if you want.
Sure. Yeah, why not?
Bartender. Well, I don't want to just keep calling you bartender. Did I get your name?
Oh, my name is Okron.
Okron. That's a splendid name. Did everyone get their third rounds yet?
Yeah, everyone's on their third, onto their fourth.
Okay. Above game, I made a harrowing discovery last time we played. Tis has the highest charisma out of the group, and that's awful for me.
Wait a minute. Oh, shit.
Is that true? Okay.
Yeah. I think that's true.
Extremely troubling.
How's Eltigra?
No, it's 13, and I play it with a very high charisma, which is
fair enough. Yeah.
I've never. Speaking to the bartender, to Okran. I've never done this, but I'd like to address the bar. Is there some way I should do that? Like the whole tavern? Like I just want to have a word with everyone.
Well, just sort of raise your voice and talk to people. Do you want me to get their attention?
I feel like maybe I should do it.
Okay. You can ring the bell if you want. And he points at the rope that's hanging from a bell.
Just will look at it. maybe not this time.
Okay.
I'm not gonna raise my voice like on stream, but Tis will call out to everyone, like, hey everyone, whatever. Maybe a little bit too loud at first, and then kind of quiet down. I hope you're all enjoying your drinks. I think you have another round coming up. Before it gets here, I had a question that I was wondering about all of you, that I was wondering if I could ask all of you. Why are you all here?
Money! Riches! Sex!
This is searching for the words, because, like, they would want to say no or something, but, like, all fair reasons to be here, I believe. How safe do you all feel here? In the tomb?
Someone from the crowd just sort of shouts, "It's a death trap, that's why we're there!"
Every inch of it. How safe do you feel in camp?
Fine. Fine. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, sandstorms suck.
I have reason to believe that we're not as safe as we think we are above ground. I think the camp either is or is becoming as treacherous as the tomb is. I think it's not laden with traps, certainly, because we're all decent people. We have wants and needs that we pursue, and I think we more or less stay out of each other's way. As my friend Perius, and then Tis will kind of like raise a glass toward Perius, has stated, we're all friendly competitors.
Perius has a wry smile because he sees where you're going with this.
Yeah. But I think there's competitors among us that aren't as friendly. I know for a fact that there's competitors among us that are willing to rob, steal, and kill to cover up their tracks. My party and I, my friends and I, were treated in such a manner by people under the employ of Hubert Songshore. We were robbed, we were brought to the brink of death, kidnapped, and they had planned to kill us, and they would have killed us had we not escaped. And I have to believe that if they're willing to do that to us, they'd be willing to do it to anyone. And if that's the case, knowing that, how safe do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, roll a persuasion check.
Or not one.
It's more likely than you think.
It's a 5% chance to get a nat one.
It's 2.
That's a 5 bonus. I was actually that too.
So I think the problem you're running into here, Tis. Just for
yeah, I'm not trying to milk this. I know I did it for the arm wrestling thing, but this was the reason I was giving them drinks. Does that help at all?
Of course.
Okay.
Oh yeah. No, of course. I totally understand.
Yeah.
But it turns out the drinks are not enough to give you advantage here.
Okay. Yeah.
Although I like the idea, they certainly are fond of the drinks, and that certainly, I think what the drinks did is it lowered the DC, but it doesn't give you advantage, if that makes sense.
Okay. No, yeah, that's perfect.
So, but you just didn't lower it enough. But the problem that you're running into here is that Hubert Songshore Enterprises are a financial juggernaut, right? The healing potions that you guys are purchasing, it's an independent person who gets all their supplies from Hubert Songshore Enterprises. Any weapons that you've bought, it's an independent person who gets all of their shipping needs handled by Hubert Songshore Enterprises. Even your guys' food supplies that you're getting from Obscura are handled by Hubert Songshore Enterprises. So it's like you're trying to encourage people to turn on something that's like kind of foundational to how things are going right now. Does that make sense? And even if you're right, like, people will turn a blind eye when you're right because they're uncomfortable, because they don't want to be at risk.
Their whole subsistence is like covered by Songshore Enterprises.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. No, I see what I'm up against. I think Tis maybe didn't know as well as they do now what they were up against, but they kind of like generally knew. But seeing the that the tavern was fabricated by Songshore, maybe the drinks like the cups or whatever were too. But like it's slowly becoming clear that like
even if they weren't, they were certainly shipped in by Hubert Songshore Enterprises. Yeah, I think so. I think like the people do not respond super positively, but they all like are friendly enough, and they thank you for the drinks, and some say, "Yeah, right," you know. But it's all sort of like tepid, lukewarm things.
Yeah, just can tell it's tepid, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can tell it's tepid, and I think one of them just comes over to you and says, "Friend, just so you know, like the drink you're drinking, the bar you're in, everything, it's all provided by Hubert Songshore Enterprises."
Tis will pat them on the shoulder and kind of look at the ground, kind of defeated. I'm realizing that. I understand you all don't know me, and you know Hubert Songshore by name tenfold, several times more than you know me. I don't need you to. I don't need anything from you right now. I think we should all just continue being friendly competitors. But I'd like to prove that I'm more than that. I will compete. I kind of have to for a living. But if any of you need help, I'm not going to leave you stranded. And I'd like to show you that Hubert Songshore and his associates don't feel the same way.
Yeah. I want you to roll a follow-up persuasion check.
Okay.
This is a separate roll.
That's better.
That does separate things. Yeah, 14. Yeah. So a lot of people like. So no one takes offense at what you're suggesting. Everyone's sort of under. I think
good.
Sort of what we have here is Hubert Songshore Enterprises is the local equivalent of Amazon.com.
Yeah.
We all know that they're evil. We all know that they have poor business practices. Sorry, Twitch Prime, my overlord. But you know, we all sort of like look askance at it because like it's so freaking convenient and useful, right?
Yeah.
So no one's like a fan of it necessarily, but they sort of see this, but they sort of see them as being like a necessary evil rather than like what they are, which is a not necessary evil.
Too established and too necessary. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that their opinion of you is elevated, right?
Perfect.
Particularly your group, but they look at you and think, oh, there's someone who's honest and true about the situation that we're in. Yeah, they're a little crazy. They want to do something that's like really ambitious about the situation that we're in, but nonetheless, at least they're honest and true about it, you know? That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they watch the whole thing go, and that is but I don't think there's a way to win them over. I think what may happen though as a result of this is that you may get some interesting offers.
Okay.
And we'll see what that amounts to.
While Tis was talking, can Celia just watch Nari and see how she reacts?
Yeah, roll a insight check for me.
Oh.
Well, with a natural 1, yeah, you see exactly how Nalri reacts. Nalri reacts, she has a mild coughing fit. And then I think you see her, like, reach up and touch her face, like she scratches at her face a little bit. And as she does, she pulls her fingers away and she looks at it. And she looks almost disgusted at what she sees. Roll a perception check. As she pulls her fingers away, a tiny bit of her own flesh has come off.
Standard, okay.
No worries, it's not creepy at all.
Quick question above game. Is it possible, because I had an idea that might be pretty interesting.
Go for it.
If I were to carry around some, like, spirited alcohol, like tequila, vodka, whatever.
Sure.
Could I dip my fists in it and take fire damage per turn, but add my Flame of the Tiger to each one of my unarmed attacks?
Yes.
That would be cool as hell. All right.
Cool. Yes. I think mechanically speaking, what it would be is 1d4 fire damage per turn.
Okay. So, and that would be the same amount that I would be dealing on the attack. So it works out well.
Yes. Well, it would scale pretty well because like your Flame of the Tiger thing, right? Your whatever that is, the Remora's ability or whatever you're calling it. Like you punch people with that. Every time you hit someone, you do plus 1d4. So if you've got 2 attacks, or if I have a way to get 3 attacks or something like that, then that's plus 3d4 in exchange for 1d4. And then if you get, I don't know what barbarian subclass you are or whatever, but I know that one of them.
I do have the one that reduces it, so that's why I was thinking it was.
I mean, then that's great. So then you're talking about 1d4 halved equals, you know, I mean that's basically 1 damage a turn. Yeah. That's 1 damage a turn basically. Like unless you roll badly, that's 1 damage a turn in exchange for plus 2d4 damage per turn. So that seems worth it to me. But yeah, absolutely.
Not bad, and it's pretty flavorful too. So.
Yeah, I love it. Light your hands on fire. I love it.
Not exactly the most elegant solution, but you know what? I'm a barbarian. It's not really supposed to be the most elegant of things.
Exactly. Yeah, it works for me. Okay. So, anything else? Anyone else wants to do in the tavern?
Just buy a big cask of alcohol, however much gold that is.
Yeah. We'll get you a cask. Let's say 10 gold.
Okay. Let's see.
He's got like some bad alcohol that's like really, really high proof and has to be mixed a lot. So.
Yeah. And I will add that as an ability. Flaming Tiger Fest.
That's so dope. No, that's awesome.
It is a great name. But like,
I love that.
I love it. I think it's great. I'm totally down. This is
like
awesome.
A cartoon.
Cool. So you buy your flask. Does anyone else have anything else that they want to do at this point in the tavern? You guys got to know each other a little bit. You toasted to Mochi. You tried to convince the camp to go against you at Songshore. Anyone else have anything they want to do?
Just in general, I want to go buy some more healing potions, but apart
yeah, that's pretty.
Okay. Well, we will do that. We will do that when we get back from break, and we'll take 10 minutes now.
See y'all when we get back.
Hey, everyone, we're back. Hope you are enjoying the show thus far. I know that we are enjoying playing it, and nothing makes me happier than smashing corporate overlords, or at least trying to. And sometimes that's a hard thing to do, because corporate overlords have too much power in D&D. Anyway, let us, and before we get right back to it, let's talk about the things that I normally like to talk about here. Hey, we have a channel. This channel is slowly growing, but we're having a lot of fun with it, and we have a bunch of games on. In fact, right now we've got 4 games running on it, not including this one, which is, again, 10:30 on Thursdays. We do some dungeon diving and some anti-corporate bashing. All good things. I love it. On Fridays, we run a game of Monster Hearts. Yay, Monster Hearts. It's so sweet and fun and horrifying. If you don't know Monster Hearts, it's a game about teenage monsters making their lives miserable for each other. Right now, we have a ghost, a vampire, a werewolf, and a fey creature, and they all are making their lives miserable for each other. It's great. I love it. It makes me super happy. And then on Saturdays, we have our new game, The Chosen Few, about a bunch of people in the same world, set in the same world as the Tomb of Akarut, set in sort of the similar part of the world, the Shimmering Seas. And they have been chosen, they don't know why, to go explore the Kava. It's hidden in a mysterious place that people don't seem to know much about. And that game just started up. We'll see what happens this time, but right now they are possibly trying to survive a crashing airship. So we'll see how that goes and if any of them survive. And then on Mondays, we have our assassination of Primarch Magically Black Eyes. There is a fascist dictator on the rise, and everyone is trying to figure out how to prevent a fascist dictator from becoming a dictator. Right now, he is a fascist wannabe dictator with a lot of popular support and a lot of power, but he's not technically a dictator yet. And so they're trying to figure out how to prevent him from becoming a dictator. Or how to get rid of him. Whatever happens, happens. All that stuff is happening on this channel. Our show is at 10:30 on Thursdays. At 4 o'clock on Fridays is Monster Hearts. At 4:30 on Sundays is The Chosen Few. And at 5 on Mondays. Is that right, Marcus?
Yeah. 5 p.m.
Okay. At 5 p.m. on Mondays is the... whatever that one is, the assassination of Primarch Magically Black Eyes. All those times are Pacific Standard Time, so do the conversion for your local time zone, and come check out some of our content. We have a lot of fun making it, and I think that it's pretty fun to watch, and we've got a cool cast of people playing. I'm very happy with all of them. I think they're all great. They're so much fun, and they're so much fun to have around. And yes, I am not at all talking about the players here, who all are just so awesome that I feel very lucky. So there you go. Let us dive back into it. Okay, so Celia.
Yes.
You expressed an interest to me of purchasing healing potions. Now, I think that you are certainly going to purchase healing potions. You have the capability of purchasing healing potions. Healing potions are a good thing to purchase. They're useful in many ways. How, though, does Celia feel now about purchasing healing potions, now that she knows that all the magical regions and the like to make healing potions are provided by Hubert Songshore Enterprises?
She's not exactly happy about it, but she's trying to mainly take stock on the fact that they are basically indirectly helping her take them down. So she
use my enemy to defeat my enemy.
Yeah, basically.
Nice. I like it. Okay, cool. So healing potions are just readily available. This is something that we established with this group. You guys can purchase healing potions. Healing potions are basically made constantly. We set prices for the healing potions, I believe. I think we said 50 for a standard. Is that right?
Yep.
Great. And then 100 for a greater. Is that right?
It's 250 for
250 for a greater. That makes more sense. Okay, cool. Yeah, I can't imagine that you have enough money to buy anything above that. Just a guess.
No, we don't.
Great. So how many healing potions do you want to buy, and of what types?
Saya's just going to go for the simple ones, the standard ones.
Okay.
But she's going to get quite a few of them because we get through those things fast.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get 6.
Okay, so that's 300 gold. for standard healing potions.
Godspeed, you funky little Gatorades.
Nice.
Tis would have tagged along too, because Tis would also like some
anyone
potions.
can buy healing potions.
Do you remember the potion seller's name?
No, we in fact purposely never established it.
Okay.
It was because I don't want them to be, and I'll just tell this candidly to everyone here and also in the audience. Stealing from shops is lame. Obviously, this is not the sort of group that would steal from shops, but one way to make your players not steal from shops is to don't have shopkeepers who are interactable, because people are someone that you can steal from. But something that's anonymous and just like, yeah, you show up and purchase these things and leave is a thing. So I'm just not RPing out the health potion shop.
Okay.
So.
So yeah, I will take 4.
So you buy 4.
What other types of potions do they have?
This is a health potion shop.
Oh, okay. Wow, a health potion shop. What other potions do you have, sir? This is a health potion shop. yeah. What other types of potions do you have?
Well,
sir?
we have health potions and health potions. That's it.
Not to like try to circumvent the like not interactable vendor. Who would someone talk to to get an idea of like how the operation works? This is more like just trying to subvert the corporate lines sort of thing.
Yeah, so I mean fundamentally they've got brewers who are working in the back that brew potions, and then like a head owner who also is a brewer but mostly does sales and does some brewing as well when there's no one purchasing things. But he organizes getting the materials, and Hubert Songshire Enterprises is sort of in charge of shipping largely to this place. Very few people are willing to ship up here, so controls shipping, controls price, controls selling the ingredients and things like that.
So do I know if Songshore sends the potions or the reagents?
The reagents.
Okay, interesting. I guess more concisely, I could have asked like, where are the means of production and where could I interact with them?
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so they've got a team of brewers in the back who brew the potions. Cool. Okay. Anything else that anyone wants to do in the village today? In the tent city today?
I am interested with the scrolls that we got. I know one of them's now with Adius. But I think Celia would like to study those.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Let's check these scrolls. You got these scrolls in the tomb, correct?
Yeah. There were 5 scrolls from room 45H.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was looking for. You knew me well. Room 45. Is that 45? Nope, that's 20F. That is... Guys, this tomb is really big.
It was just past the mushroom, the spore room.
I mean, they're numbered in order, so the fact that she said 45H is enough to get me there. It's just like 45H.
It's just a long ways there.
I mean, and there's a lot of details. I'm on page 40, and I haven't gotten room for 45 yet. 40G, 40H. Some of these things are very funny too. One of these rooms is titled, yes, you guessed it, still another barrier vault. Okay, 45, 45A, 45A12, oh my god, 45C, 45G, 45H. Okay, you got 5 scrolls from 45.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I have 5 scrolls here, and you gave 1 to Adius. That's correct.
Yes.
Did you give him red, black, blue, green, or gold? They're all paper, but they all have a different colored seal on them.
I don't think Lyra would have noticed, so I think she would have just gone with black, I guess.
Okay. Cool. Beautiful. So, Celia, do you want to look at red, blue, green, or gold first?
Gold, shiny.
Shiny gold. Okay. Yeah. So you pull open the gold thing. Yeah. Roll an investigation check to read this. It's very dense text, and it's whether this is important, whether you discover what's important or not within it. Yeah. 13. Nice. Good roll. Okay. So, yeah, this is a scroll that has been. You immediately notice that the seal, the gold seal, has been busted open and sealed, and busted open and sealed, and busted open and sealed a lot of times, and all that. It's very much a like the thing that's been opened and written on and closed, and opened and written on and closed. It is the maintenance log on the globe, the magical globe that was in that room. It describes the golden globe as the source of power for the teleportation system. If the globe is destroyed, the system will no longer work, and any creature will be trapped until an alternate method of transportation is devised. It also points out that one could cast Dispel Magic on the item, and that would negate its power for a time, but not forever. If the globe is ever broken, it would require a combination of a highly skilled caster of the spell Mending and someone who can cast the spell Teleportation to fix it. The globe is quite fragile and can break easily. And that is what the gold stuff tells you. The gold sealed tablet tells you.
Okay, lovely.
Would you like to look at any other scrolls?
Yes. I'll look at one more.
Red, blue, or green?
Green.
Okay. This is the one that you were looking for. I almost guarantee it. It's a spell scroll with spells on it. In fact, it has a whole slew of spells on it. Yay! It has 2 blood magic spells of your choice that you can learn of 3rd level or lower. And then it also has the spell Fireball, the spell Dispel Magic, and the spell Invisibility.
Ooh. Invisibility sounds useful.
Yes, so if you want to copy these to your spell book, it will cost time and money.
Yeah.
As you know.
How much time does it take?
I think it believes. Is it 1 hour per level of spell?
It's 1 hour and 50 gold per level of spell.
1 hour and 50 gold per level of spell. So Fireball is a 3rd level spell. Dispel Magic is a 3rd level spell. Invisibility is a 2nd level spell. Is that right? 1st level spell, 2nd level spell. So to get all these, it would be 200 gold, right? Yeah, 200 gold in 8 hours.
Okay, that's fine.
And then the blood magic would be something, but that's there for you.
Okay, I'm going to. I assume we're all back at our little tent.
Yep.
So I'm going to quickly help Yaldor, like I said I would, dig out the tent, and then immediately go inside and start studying and not come out for any distractions.
Yeah. So it's mid-afternoon at this point. So you're going to study late into the night?
Yeah.
Okay. Lyra, how do you feel about your roommate keeping the light on late into the night? Do you care?
I'm just gonna pull the blankets over me, and I'll just not say anything. I'll be slightly annoyed, but I won't bring it up.
Okay, fair enough. Sorry, I just put on my hood so violently that I knocked off my headphones. There we go. Sorry about that. Oh no, my hair looks awful. Not that it looked good before, but now it looks awful. Cool. Okay. So yeah. So you spend most of the night studying. You can also pick 2 3rd level spells that you want from 3rd or lower that you want that are blood magic spells.
Matt, hypothetically, if it actually costs 2 hours and 50 gold per level spell, would you want to know that?
Yes.
Okay, it costs 2 hours and 50 gold.
Great.
Yeah.
So that would take you 16 hours to get the 3 spells that I listed there. It would become another 12 hours on top of that to get the blood magic spells.
Sorry.
So that would make it 28 hours. So there's no way to get them all tonight. So you've got to make decisions. About
2
what you
of
want.
them and spend 6 hours.
Okay.
Wait, no, that's not 6 hours.
It's 12 hours to get 2 of them.
Yeah, I'll spend 12 hours.
Okay. Yeah, I want a Constitution saving throw just to see how you do in the next day.
That is fair. Probably not great, to be honest.
I think you're probably fine. Yeah, you're fine. You are a hearty blood wizard. So it makes sense. You can take it. Thank you, Marcus, for the correction.
Yeah.
All that good stuff. Always want it to be on top of stuff. Cool. Okay. Right. Okay. Cool. Excellent. Let's dive back on in then. So it's the next day, and the sandstorm has traveled past. What is your guys' intention today? Do you want to go back into the tomb? Do you want to look for more allies against Hubert Songshore? Do you want to make more enemies because you don't have enough of those? Do you want to? I don't know. What do you want to do? What's your intention? Oh, Tis, by the way, I'm going to assume that you yesterday during the sandstorm at some point wrote a letter.
Yeah, that works perfect.
Cool.
Well, I think a lot of the group would obviously be quite scared-ish to go back into the tomb because we've had some bad experiences lately. And also we know this trip is for Parius, so we probably wouldn't go all that deep.
Okay. Would you tell Bialor that that you're going to make a trip for Parius?
No. I don't want to lose my job.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. It is interesting. Yeah, so I think Bialor finds Altigre, right? And offers Altigre a contract. And it's the same contract that you guys all have. But he just he basically just offers you a job, Altigre, working for the Order of Obscura.
Okay. That's a very good question. I want to look at my intelligence. So 10 is an average intelligence. 9 would be, what would you say, like a 7 and a 9. 7 wisdom, 9 intelligence. Would I know how to write?
Yeah. Yes, but you might not know how to write the local language.
Okay. I might not know how to spell, too. That may be like a thing. Like, I'll have issues spelling words.
Certainly.
So,
yeah. I think a 9 intelligence is like, I mean, I don't know. We used to think of like the way that D&D used to market these things, they'd say like a 10 is an average intelligence of an adventurer. A 9 is an average intelligence of a common person. Then they discovered that was probably not a good way of saying things. And so they stopped saying that. But that's sort of broad. That's how they used to say things, right? An average, a commoner in 3rd edition and in 4th edition and in 2nd edition had 8s and 9s all across the board.
Yeah. Wait, no, didn't they have 10s across the board?
No,
like in 2.5.
I think that's now. I think that's now. 10s.
Okay. Yeah. It's been a while then. Okay, fair enough.
Like 10 is average now.
Yeah, 10 is average now. Either way, though, we're gonna move forward from that.
Yeah. Sorry.
So yeah, it's just back to it. So let's So I don't know how well you read this. I don't know if you read this language even, honestly, because you are a man out of time, and out of place.
Sign it.
Yeah, but you still sign it. Okay, yeah. So you have a job. Now you're now one of the group officially, and all that good stuff. So there we are. Let's. So the plan is to go back into the tomb then. Let's do that.
Let's just hang out in the skeleton room. Let's just do something we know we can handle.
That's fair. So we've got, again, 2 paths in this tomb that we can take. We've got the left path and the right path. Those are your options. The right path leads towards the fun guy folk. And the left path leads to the skeleton room and deeper into the dungeon. What is your intention?
Going along with them. So I have no say in it. because I don't know this
I
place.
I feel like as a group we're just kind of going through the motions, knowing that we have to go into the tomb. But like by the time we're in the entrance, we're like none of us has talked about where we're gonna go, really. So we're just kind of standing there. Any preference? Any ideas? I just don't want to go too deep this time.
Which way had we gone last time?
Went towards the skeleton room. You've mostly done the skeleton room side of things. You haven't done a lot with the fungi folk side of things. Not that it matters, but just so you know. You've spent a lot more time in the western caverns than in the eastern ones, is how I would say it.
Maybe for the sake of familiarity and us being a bit traumatized on the last one, maybe we could go down with what we know a bit more and go towards the skeleton room.
Sounds like a good idea
know a bit
to
more
me.
about that area.
So are you guys going towards the area that Mochi died, or
towards? Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's true actually.
Yeah. Because perhaps.
I mean, there's other pathways though, right? Like it's not a straight line. You guys have not treated it like a straight line, and it's not a straight line. There's a lot of you don't have to go all the way to where Mochi died, right, and push beyond that. There's other directions you could have gone, other paths that you could have taken that you have not taken yet and not explored. Several.
Sure.
Also, just to be super candid, several secret passages that you have missed as well.
Ooh. Is that a passive perception thing?
Sometimes it's passive perception. When you guys are hanging out in an area, I'll have you roll an actual perception check. And when I say, okay, you don't see anything, that's usually you missing a secret passage.
Okay.
Yeah.
So skeleton room, and we'll decide as we.
Yeah. So 3 of you have passes to get through the skeleton room. 1 of you does not. LT Gray, do you want to fight a skeleton?
Yeah.
Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah.
Tis? Cool. So LT...
actually, sorry. I'll give my token to one of the to either Lyra or Celia.
They both have tokens.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
okay. Okay. Yeah. So Lyra or Celia, you now have 2 tokens. 1 of you. So Tis, you enter into the skeleton room to fight. Is that the idea? Marcus.
Yeah, sorry, I was muted. I'll turn to El Tigre. Would you want to watch me do this first, or do you want to just kind of go at it?
I think I'll go for it. I'm feeling pretty confident.
The big thing is that you have to fight honorably. No help from the outside.
Not an issue from me.
I can imagine. Yeah, no help from the outside. That's it. One skeleton at a time. That's it. You got it.
Sounds like a plan.
Just will pat him on the back. Go and get him, friend.
So you enter, and a skeleton walks across the floor and just very politely bows to you and sort of waits for you to bow.
Alright. I am going to strike a pose that would be traditional for me entering battle normally. So I guess something like a little bit more bodacious, but still respectful.
I love it. Yeah, Mexican wrestler here. I love it. Yeah, so let's roll off. Initiative. I get a 20.
13.
Then I am going to slash you violently with my short sword. Plus 4 to hit. Let's see how I do. My guess is badly. 15.
No, sir.
Yeah, so I come charging towards you with my short sword, and you just sort of leap out of the way. And I think you are really fast on your feet a little bit. So I think you just leap straight into the air, and the short sword just goes underneath your feet, and then you hop off the short sword. What do you want to do?
I am going to attempt to, let's just make it flavorful. We'll use unarmed strike, and it'll be a kick.
Yep, kick him. That definitely hits. Roll damage. And that is 10 damage because he is vulnerable to bludgeoning damage. So he does not like that experience at all. You kick him in the skull, and I think the back of his skull caves in.
Nice.
Do you have a second attack or no?
Yes, I'm going to use a bonus action to attempt to grapple.
Great.
Or let's see, is it? Oh wait, shoving is better than grappling, right?
In this case, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to shove.
Great. So you shove him. Contested athletics check. So 0. I get a 9. You get a 20. So you shove me. Excellent. So you shove the skeleton. It falls to the ground. What do you want to do as it falls to the ground?
I think that's it.
That's your turn.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it, unless I can use my reaction. Well, not really, because it's if they hit me. So.
Yep. Well, he's gonna try and hit you.
You can try.
He gets a 10.
Yeah. So.
That makes it your turn.
All right. I'm going to do another unarmed attack.
Do it. That hits. Roll damage. And the skeleton shatters. I think you like reach forward. I don't even think your unarmed attack is like a punch. I think you like try to grapple him and just squeeze, and like the ribcage shatters, and he stops moving.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is clapping uproariously.
Yeah.
I'm gonna dust off my hands and then walk towards it. All right, let's go.
Fantastic, friend.
It was a fun fight.
Okay. I'm just gonna put Tiss on this. I'm gonna try and remind you guys of where you are. Can you guys all see part of the map that has been revealed?
Yes.
We are at I think we're on the chapel screen.
That's where you enter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So at the top of the stairs over here is where the circle of the fighting with skeletons are.
I see.
What? Did I say something weird?
No.
Okay. And then down the stairs, here's the chapel screen. So here's the chapel and all that good stuff. I would like Celia to roll a perception check. 7. Excellent. Good to know. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see anything, do I?
Yep, no worries. So you guys follow around this way, and again over here, there's the weird incantation to a death god. Just reminding you. Here is the spear trap that you guys have disabled. Here's the room where you guys hoarded up for a little while, and you continue forward and forward. Yeah. What is? Let's see. Tiss.
Yeah.
What is your passive perception?
Let me check. Not high. 9.
Okay, that is definitely not you. Celia, what is your passive perception?
It is 14.
Okay, and let's see. El Tigre, what is your passive perception?
Oh, you wouldn't believe. I got the eye of the tiger. I got an 8.
Nice. And Lyra, what about your passive perception?
13.
Okay, then none of you see the secret passage.
I have dangerous sense.
It sucks so much. Dangerous sense is very useful. It is different than spotting secret passage, but it would give you advantage on saves against traps.
Actually, good point. I'm going to go in front. So marching order, I'm going to be in front of everybody.
Sounds good to me. So you guys head down deeper into everything. Let's get rid of some of these baddies who are not here right now. And I think on your way down the stairs, you see someone heading up the stairs. And they look at you and just sort of give you like a friendly wave. They've got like a bag filled with some stuff, but it's not a lot. And they it just gives you sort of a friendly wave.
Do we know who it is? Have we seen them before?
Yeah, I think you recognize them. They're one of the people who was in the pub. Roll a perception check, Celia. Yeah, actually, you recognize this person as someone who's in the pub, and also someone who maybe works for Nalri.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just as like a thing.
Cool. That immediately makes me not trust them. Cool.
What? Not trust someone who works for a witch who stole your friend's memories? Oh wait, you don't know that happened.
Yeah.
But you know, whatever.
I think Celia, as a person, is not having a fun time right now. And she doesn't particularly want to go much further down. So she's gonna start like. She's basically trying to procrastinate at this point, but she's also just like looking at the walls, looking at the ceiling, looking at the floor, like doing random things to make it look like she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you make a perception check for me? I'm just like.
Can I do lucky?
Yeah, of course. You're not that lucky.
Oh dear.
You are not that lucky. Okay. So let's talk about this room that you're in. This is room 42. So I'm just gonna scroll down to 42 for 1 second in my notes. Yeah. This is a large cavern with a stone floor. It is fairly dry, and there are stalactite and stalagmite formations along the south wall only. The stair to the north leads up to level 1, where you came from, and the floor of the cave is littered near the center with debris from another room. But most of this debris is gone now. There is a large chasm in the ceiling, and you can look up there and see. Looks like some nice ceilings or something. There's like a floor. There's something above you guys, but it's pretty high up. So you'd need some sort of means of getting up there if you were interested in that. There's also the stairs up to the pitch black area that you saw before. There's also a passageway down that you guys have never checked out, just out of interest in pointing things out on the map that you haven't seen before. So, yeah, there's 3 easy exits from the room: the way you came, the way you've been multiple times, the way you haven't been, and then 1 hard exit from the room that would be straight up. If you can find a way to get straight up, that would reveal maybe something new to you. Who knows?
The passageway down we haven't been in?
Nope, not yet.
Which one did we go to that took us to first to the Minotaur and then to the Spore room?
Yeah, that's over by. Hold on, I'm gonna move your token.
Oh.
This okay? Do you see right here on the map where it has a little tiny S? Thinking it now. Near Tis.
Yeah, sorry, I keep muting myself. Sorry. Yes, I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a secret passage to the Spore room and the places that you found, and also to where Mochi died. Also worth pointing out that goes so deep that this over here, is the passageway up from there. But you don't know how to get there on this floor.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
And the one... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I just remember fighting a spider, and it was pitch black. Where was that?
Right here, where it says number 43 on your map. That's where it was pitch black and you fought a spider. I will say that you have seen webs in 46 area, but you've never gone over there.
Okay, cool.
You saw them and thought, nope, that's probably a spider. And decided to avoid
it. Fuck spiders.
Spiders. It's a thing. Yeah. So you can go south from here. You can go northeast from here. You can go back from here, or you can go up if you can find a way to go up. It's about 100 feet above you.
Oof.
Oh, so can LT go and not throw one of us up there?
I probably could.
100
feet up.
Wait, how many feet?
100.
Oh, 100. Okay, no.
Yeah, no.
I'm like, I'm strong. I'm not that strong.
Roughly 100. We'll say 30 meters, 100 feet, something like that.
Oh god, imagine if you tried and we just fell that
far. Yeah,
far.
that's what I was thinking. Take 10d6 or whatever.
Okay, so like, an average person is like 6 feet tall, right? Like, doing the math on this, like, halfling, light armor, right?
No armor, actually. Celia's not wearing armor at all.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, and if I rage, I could definitely use a rage. You want to try?
Oh my god.
Oh, wait, actually, you know what? Why are we not... Okay, Occam's Razor. Does anybody have rope?
Yeah, I think we all would.
Okay, there you go. Like, perhaps a little bit better than trying to go for that fall damage.
Throw a rope up there?
Yeah.
Well, could we like attach something to the end of it and then try and make like
Pull it
a
out.
yeah? What is the ceiling made of?
So this is like a rocky cavern here, but up there you see like a very ornately decorated and painted room. So let's see, roll a perception check. Anyone who wants to look into the room, let's say Celia is technically the best at perception checks. So even though the Chaos Plateau has not been her friend, I'm going to say Celia, why don't you roll a perception check for me?
I have a 4 and I just roll really badly.
He's saying my -2 in perception isn't going to be the best roll.
18, nice. Yeah, so that room up there has, you can actually see it has pillars in it, round pillars that might be worth checking out. Like they're like round, so maybe if you get something around them, they actually sort of match. Hold on, I need to go back to your map. I'm looking at two maps at once. They're not similar. They're not dissimilar in design from the pillars you see at 45, where the temple was.
So actually, maybe our best bet would be to throw someone up with rope, and then they can let a rope down for everyone else.
I have an idea, actually. Do you guys have pythons?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I could take pythons, and I'm gonna see if I can punch them into the wall. Like, put them between my, like, you know how Wolverine claws are kind of like?
Yeah, of course.
Between my fingers, and see if I can, like, punch them into the wall to start climbing the wall with, like, a rope attached to me.
Yeah. So how many pythons do you have? That's the real question.
Between us?
Yeah,
good question.
I don't know if all packs have them, but they have 10.
Wow.
Yeah, do you all have Explorers packs?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have 10 each. So that's 30 pythons. Because Eltigre would not have one. If that's fair, right?
Yep. Oh, no, I don't have. The only thing I have is my mask, my shield, and my mask.
Perfect. Yeah, so Eltigre, there are pythons. There are 30 of them. It's a complicated task to climb with them up because normally what you do is you just sort of hammer them in and then leave them there, right? But you cannot really do that because 30 is not going to be enough to get all the way up the wall. This is a 100-foot wall.
Yeah.
So do you have a strategy for that?
Yes. So specifically, I'm going to see if I can use my strength in order to punch the pythons into the wall and to have multiple on each hand, so that way it would support me going vertically, kind of like a ladder that I make myself each step.
Okay.
So, and yeah, and I would have like 3, one in between each finger, so it would be enough to very solidly support the body.
You're not trying to use them as like stepping points. You're trying to use them like climbing axes.
Yeah, like claws.
Nice. Basically. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. I think there's a series of checks here, and I hate to do that because like it's unfortunate, but I think like there needs to be a series of checks here because of like the difficulty of the thing that you're trying to do.
That's fine.
So I think there's an athletics check to kick us off.
Okay. I am going to, let's see. I am considering raging for this. You know what? I have 2. So yeah, I'm going to use one of my rages. So, and I'm
that makes your athletics check at advantage.
Yes, sir. All right. Oh, thank God I did. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then I think that like sort of the follow-up check is like how this is like an endurance test for you because like you have to do this for a while to get up there. So I think I need a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. Oh my God! The benefit to raging has been like innumerable.
Huge. That's great. Yeah. So like you are grunting your way up this wall, just digging these pythons into the wall and climbing up like they're climbing axes. It's very Tomb Raider. And just making your way up to the room above you. Let us. So let's see. the room. Let's see. Would you come in on the south or north side of this room? Do you think? This room has a giant crack down the middle of it, so it's matters.
I'd say probably south. So wherever the pillars are, like that's
yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna move you back there. Cool. Let's reveal some of this area here. I'm just gonna open some of this up to you.
I think for like flavor, it would be interesting because I essentially rage. So you see like the tiger spirit, and I just have the tiger claws, allowing me to climb up. Like, because tigers can actually climb up trees really easily. So it's very in character, technically. And those rolls were perfect. Like the fact that I would never made it if I didn't rage, like that's, and I made it both times just because of the advantage.
So as you're getting up, the first thing that hits you is a stench. When you were lower down, you couldn't smell how bad the smell from this room was. But as you get up there, like you can smell just the rotting of flesh. Everything is gross and grotesque and smells just like the absolute death. You pull yourself up into the room, and you see just ranks after rank after rank of corpses laid out in orderly rows, each of them drained of all of their blood. And you are by yourself in this upper room up here, so I'm just going to put you here for a second. Oops, that's the wrong level. Yeah. How do you want to get people up here?
Yes, that is going to be the first thing that I'm going to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to take the nearest pillar, and I'm going to smack the items I have into it, and wrap the rope around a couple of times to make sure it's all secure. Okay.
Yeah, the rope, it seems very secure right now. And you're going to lay it down. Excellent. And people are going to start climbing up here. Who climbs up first?
Tis will go last, but I'll bless everyone before. Well, not everyone, but me, Celia, and Lyra.
Okay.
Yeah. Lyra will try and go up.
Okay. Lyra, you start going up. Lyra, can you tell me what your passive perception is?
13.
Okay. Yeah. So you get up here, and immediately as you do, you notice that the pillar has started, like, he's looking the wrong way. El Tigre is looking the wrong way. He's like checking the rope and looking down at you guys and come on up here, that sort of thing. And you just start getting up there, and you notice that like the pillar has started to glow, and it's giving off like a red light. And El Tigre is just sort of looking the wrong direction, and it looks hot, and you feel sort of like a wave of heat coming from the pillar.
Oh no!
Oh no! So can I look around to see if any of the other pillars are reacting the same way?
Yes, all of the pillars seem hot. They're illuminating the room at this point with their heat.
I'm just gonna go up towards them. Can I see if there's any like words or anything written on any of the pillars anywhere?
Yeah. Roll a dexterity saving throw for me. Yeah, so you go close to it to sort of look, and I think you look and you notice that there's like holes on the pillar, actually, more than anything else. And so you're sort of looking at one like, what is that? When suddenly a jet of flame just erupts from it, and you take 5 fire damage as this thing does. And all of the pillars just emit like jets of flame suddenly. And the rope that El Tigre just tied around the pillar is now on fire. Celia, I need you to roll a dexterity saving throw to get up there fast enough before the rope lights on, before the rope is burnt.
You do have a bonus to this from the bless.
Yeah, so we'll add a d4 to that 1d4.
Yep.
And does my danger sense come in handy here?
Yes, it would. If you were close enough to a pillar to be attacked, you would have advantage on your saving throw. But you are not close enough to a pillar to be attacked. Yeah. So, Celia, you make it up to the top, and you see that there's just like flames erupting from these rooms and corpses in rows along the bottom of the south side of the room. The rope is now burning. Is anyone going to be able to do anything for about Tiss? Tiss is only 20 feet up. They have a little way to go.
Can I use control flames to like take the flames away from the rope and stop the rope burning?
Yeah, why don't you roll an Arcana check for me? Yeah, so you pull the flames away from the rope. The rope is no longer burning. You don't know how often these flame jets erupt, but for now, at least, it's not burning. Tiss, why don't you make a dexterity saving throw as well, again with your d4.
Did that go through? Oh god, yeah, it did.
Okay, do you want to add a d4?
Sure.
Yeah, an 11. So you get part of the way up, but the rope is just like it's a little fragile, and so things are just like breaking a little bit. But you're far enough up that you could potentially reach and like grab a chunk of the floor. There's no pipe in there or anything like that. Do you have anything that could help you in this situation?
My
like
instinct is
it's
to
like
say
a
no.
marble wall.
Yeah. I don't think I do. I have my weapons, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. Would any of your weapons be able to help you here?
Is the wall of like a consistency that I could stab something into it?
You certainly could try.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be hard.
I could also grab a spear. Because you have the spear, right?
I have a spear, I have javelins, warhammer, longsword.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great. El Tigre, why don't you roll a dexterity saving throw to try and grab the spear?
Is this at advantage because of danger sense or not?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool. And let's see.
Is this danger?
Well, thank God.
Wow.
That is just coming in super helpful for me right now. That's all I'm just going to say.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, so you grab the spear. Tiss, you're now... You see what El Tigre is doing. Your spear, like, is just long enough that it extends sort of above your head.
Yeah.
El Tigre is able to grab the spear, but it's not like secured tightly there.
Right.
You have to help pull yourself up. Can you make an athletics check?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you grab the spear, but your hands are slipping. They're a little bit. They weren't designed to hold this sort of thing. They're
Right.
designed for rope and wet stakes, not dry spears. You're gonna fall down to possibly your death unless you come up with something to do right now, or someone else does.
So go ahead, please.
Yep,
Yeah. I think you have probably a better idea than I do.
I was just gonna say, can Myra just quickly come and try and grab onto any part of this to try and stop him from falling?
How tall are you?
I can't actually remember.
You're a half elf?
Yeah. Oh, hold on. I've got it written down.
I have a plan.
Yeah, open for anything because I only have bad ideas right now.
Well, I've just checked. Mold Earth works on stone as well. So,
Easy.
Like, use the floor and move so it's kind of like surrounding Tiss. So
that's awesome.
Oh, nice.
Like a little, temporary stepping stone.
Like a papoose.
Yeah. So Tiss, I think what happens, just for narrative flair, is that you're like you're holding this spear, and I think that El Tigre has grabbed it, but El Tigre has grabbed it around like the metal pointy part of the spear, so it's digging into El Tigre's flesh.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, and he's like trying to hold it, but like his blood is slipping down the spear, and it's making it slippery for you, and you're just like trying to grab it as fast as you possibly can, but you lose grip and you fall down, and you're like, okay. That's it. Yeah. But you land about 2 inches below you because Celia has been just bringing out the stone beneath you so that there's like a step there for you to climb onto, and you land on stone.
Tiss would be ecstatic, like in kind of like in I almost died hysteria, like laughing, and climb up. Yeah. Oh my god.
So
just that didn't happen. Obviously, that's just what would have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we have bigger issues to worry about, though, and I'll tell you once you get up.
Okay.
There's actually a very, very terrifying thing. So.
Okay. There goes now.
Let's put everyone here on this map for just a second. So let's describe this room. So there's a giant crevice throughout this room. It's just cracked and fallen apart. And getting from one side of the room to the other side is not easy. Although it might be for some of you, and you might find a way to make it easy. But the northern half of this immense hall appears to have been cleft in half by a deep chasm that extends into the walls on both the east and western side. Any character so unlucky as to fall into the chasm takes 10d6 damage as they fall 100 feet. There's also a constant chance that the floor will collapse in this room because it is unstable. So you guys are constantly worried about that. Anytime people pass between the pillars, they must make a dexterity saving throw because fire shoots out of them. If you stay in front of it, then you just take the damage. You can't do that. Blah, 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 blah.
So you want to know why I was worried?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you guys remember, but I only bought one thing in the town.
Oil?
A giant cask of alcohol.
Yeah, you would come up with flames.
Yeah.
On the other side of the place is a massive statue. It's a little bit difficult to see from here, and you'll want to get closer to see it if you want to see it. But there's a massive statue over there. Blah, blah, blah. Hold on one second. Let me just keep reading things. Okay. There's row after row of dead people, corpses, lying behind you guys on this side of the room. Most are long decayed, some are in skeletal form, but some are actually remarkably fresh. Why don't you roll a medicine check, if someone wants to investigate the corpses. Excellent. And Marcus, can you also roll a dexterity saving throw? Because believe it or not, you unintentionally triggered a flame trap.
Sure.
Okay.
I get a D4 still, right? Has it been a minute?
Yeah, you still get it. Oh yeah, you still get a D4. Oh yeah, definitely. This is all happening very quickly.
Hey,
oh,
4.
that succeeds then. You don't take the damage.
Awesome.
So the 3 that I just rolled, you can ignore. Yeah. So you go over there. Yeah, some of them are quite fresh actually. And you see one of them that you recognize from the bar yesterday.
Okay. Oh no. Oh god. Okay. Anyone I knew beforehand, or just from the bar?
I don't think you knew his name beforehand, or her. Yeah, she's female. Sorry, or she presents female. So it's relatively fresh. However, while you are over there, pull up my notes. Hold on. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, while you are over there, something leaps out from underneath the corpses to attack you. So let's do some horrible. I'm not doing that. Poop. Let's try. Let's just pull out some evil worm things. What? Yeah. Okay. Wow. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so let's everyone click on your token and roll. Oops, that one's not actually bigger than this. Roll initiative.
How did I roll a 17 with an initiative of 1?
You rolled a 16, you got a +1.
I rolled the highest out of anybody here.
Got it.
Yeah.
I rolled. Sorry, cool.
So these things erupt. They are gross and hideous looking. They have sort of a yellowish tint with tentacles sticking out of their faces, and sort of a weird, ugly flesh color. And they look hungry and like they're about to attack you guys. Giant barbarian guy. What do you? Oh, these are supposed to be large. So actually, these are bigger than you. Pardon me while I grow them. Giant barbarian guy. El Tigre, what are you doing?
Protecting a giant cask of alcohol. Oh wait, actually, you know what? Yeah, because I could actually probably throw it in the center of them. The only issue is Tiss is also in the center of them. Tiss, buddy.
Yeah. What's up?
How you doing?
Doing all right.
How you feeling?
Full health. It's been a while.
All right. You know what? You want to go for it? I will leave that decision up to you.
It's a full cask.
It is a full cask. So.
I don't know why I asked. I don't know how much.
By like taking some of the flames away from you, but.
Oh, that is true. Could we combo that?
Can you do that as a reaction? Oh, okay.
I mean, it would cost her action this turn, but yeah.
I can do that. That's
easy. All right. Could I use okay, so the action would be throwing a cask. Could I use a bonus action to like wet my hands with some of it?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool. Yeah, so there you go.
So you're just throwing the cask. You're not even lighting it on fire. You're just gonna let Celia light it on fire.
Yeah, or the pillar, because I'm assuming I'm throwing it near the pillar in between all of them.
Absolutely. Yeah, so you're throwing it near there, and it's so the pillar just lights it on fire. I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, so it shoots through and it lights it on fire. With that, Tiss, let's have you make another dexterity saving throw to avoid a pillar of flame.
Can do.
And then there's going to be a follow-up one to avoid the explosion of flame. But you'll have advantage on that one. Okay, so that's a failure. So you take 1 fire damage from a pillar that shoots you. Okay. Another pillar shoots the barrel of alcohol. And then, Tiss, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw at advantage to avoid this thing, because Celia is pulling the flames away from you.
Is Bless still up, or has it been? Yeah,
Bless is
right?
still up. Oh, Bless is definitely still up. This is all 10 seconds. Okay.
How was that? I didn't see
you
it.
get a 5 on a 1d4, so you fail.
You never know. No, you don't.
No.
Okay, let's roll for our Carrion Crawlers.
Ooh, that's what they are.
Oh, no.
5, 18, 12. Okay, so 2 fail, 1 succeeds. We'll have the one that's furthest away, obviously, be the one that succeeds. So let's see, how much damage should this be? I think that this is essentially a fireball. Do you have any objection to that?
I might. I have a few now. No, that's cool.
It's a slightly not concentrated and or weakened fireball.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, so we're going to call it 6d6 fire damage. So, Tiss, that is 19 fire damage to you.
Okay. It's not too bad.
And then
That's still a lot.
It is a lot.
19 to 2 of these Carrion Crawlers and 10 to the third. That is where we're at right now. Celia, you spent your action pulling the flames away from Tiss. Do you have a bonus action or anything that you could spend to do anything with?
I do have a reaction. I want to cast Bloody Ward.
Okay. I love it. What does it do?
It's... Oh. Sorry.
That was 50 damage in a turn. It's pretty good.
That's good DPS.
Even more when you count that it hit you.
Any damage taken by the target is reduced by half the hit points you sacrifice. But I want to the vial of blood I got from Lyra.
Awesome. Yeah, so you're not sacrificing any hit points to do this.
Yeah.
So we'll say, so do we say how many hit points you got from Lyra? Do we just make that determination in advance?
We forgot.
Okay. Then why don't you roll, let's see, Lyra, what's your hit die?
It's currently 5.
You have 5 hit dice? Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't you roll for me? I'm just going to do this because I'm a little bit into power gaming right now, and I'm just going to let you be a little powerful. Can you roll for me, Celia? Can you roll, let's say, 3d8?
I certainly can.
Okay.
You got 7.
Wow.
Okay. So 7 is what you got.
Okay. And.
Oh, sorry. Lyra, what's your Constitution modifier?
I can't read. I don't. 0.
Okay. Yeah. So 7.
And if I'm correct, Lyra has the least HP of all of us, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to cast this for Lyra, so it's going to be in front of Lyra.
Okay. So Lyra, a ward of blood shows up to protect you, and that's gotta feel pretty good. Okay. It's now the Carrion Crawlers' turns. They did not like getting lit on fire, but they like even less their source of delicious food being threatened. So let's see. The first one's going to attack Tis. It's going to try and attack you with its tentacles, Tis. But it gets a natural 1.
Okay.
And then it's going to try and attack you with its bite, Tis. And it gets an 18.
Miss.
An 18 misses. Well, then it sails to bite you. I think it actually comes over there and like bites into your metal armor and just sort of like it's trying to chew on it, but it can't get it out. So your metal armor has like some dents in it. But a second one is near you, which must suck for you a little bit. So it's also going to attack you with its tentacles first, and it gets a 20.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay. Then I need you to make a Constitution saving throw. This is against poison, by the way.
Okay. Okay.
And does Bless get added to that?
Bless does get added to that, yes.
Okay.
But you don't need it because 17 is well above their saving throw.
I don't know why it rolled twice. That was weird.
No worries.
Bless is great. I never actually.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Bless is fantastic. It's one of the best early level spells in the game. Yeah, so you are not poisoned, but you do take poison damage.
Okay.
But I'm very glad you're not poisoned because it would be traumatic for you because it also involves paralysis. But it's 5 poison damage.
Okay.
And then it's going to try and bite you. And it gets a 10.
Okay.
And then another one is going to come over here and try and do the same thing to Lyra. Lyra, tentacles against you. That's another natural 1. But it will try and bite you. That's an 11. Okay, that's its turn. Lyra, before your turn occurs... the statue on the other side of the hall opens its mouth, and you hear evil cackling. Lyra, it is now your turn.
I'm just gonna try and ignore that cackle for now, but I'll just quickly take a stab at this nearest worm thing.
Yeah, sadly an 11 is not good enough to hit.
Of course not. Okay.
Lyra, who cannot hit. Okay. Tis, that makes it your turn.
Okay. So Tis isn't an arcanist, but could they tell just from, or could they guess whether or not the pillars are enchanted or under the effect of an enchantment?
Yeah, roll an Arcana check.
Okay. What was that?
Could be magic, could be a trap, could be really anything.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna use 15 points of land hands on myself.
Okay. Pop up that health.
Yeah, sorry about
No, it's cool, it's cool. That was a lot of damage. That means it's gonna be easier to kill these scrubs. So.
True.
That's that was 40 damage to them. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that was a worthy
50 damage to them, and then it's 70 if you count the one that was done to you. Too.
Yeah, that's good DPR. That's just good DPR. Oh, you know what? I'll use Hungry Jaws. It might be stupid.
Yeah.
I'll bite one.
Yeah, bite a Carrion Crawler.
I think I'm the first barbarian to cast Fireball. Holy shit. Nice.
3 points of damage.
Nice.
I'm just going to assume that it's the one that actually hurt you. So,
cool.
Yeah, count enough for them. Okay, nice. Okay, that brings us around to the top of the initiative count. Oh boy, this room sucks.
Can I say that I was raging on the turn that I threw the barrel?
Yeah, you can be raging.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. You were raging when you climbed up. I don't think you've had a chance to cease raging. I actually think you're still raging.
Yeah, good point. So.
You were holding a spear that was damaging you because you were, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I've got bad news for this room. Tiss, you know how you didn't know whether these things were enchanted or not?
Mm-hmm.
These things? Well, now they're glowing blue.
Oh, God.
And several of the corpses stand up.
Oh, no. That's awful.
In fact, 4 of them stand up.
Where's the cleric when we need it?
Yeah. I mean, I got a little some, but not like cleric some.
Like, imagine a cleric just standing in between, like, on the opposite end of the chasm, and he just uses turn undead. And then they all just walk into the gap.
Yep. And that makes it LT-Gray's turn.
Okay. All right, this is a difficult one because I have the ability to help Tiss, but I leave Lyra and an easy possibility for a kill if that's the case.
Lyra has a blood ward on her, so she's less squishy than normal.
Wait, no, it's not Lyra. It's what's it called?
Celia?
Wait, no, yeah, it is Lyra. Okay, so wait,
Celia cast a blood ward on Lyra.
Oh, okay, that's why I'm confused because I'm thinking. Yep. Yeah, okay, so yeah, Lyra will be okay.
Probably.
I was thinking like I could probably shove that grub into the pit, which is an easy kill, right?
Mm-hmm. Potentially.
But Tiss is literally facing off against a giant army. So I'm going to go help Tiss. I'm going to make the right decision on that one. And
if you think that's the right decision, do it.
Yeah, I'm going to move my character into the scope, or undead.
Yeah.
And then I am going to attack the... Let's see. If I attack an undead with an undead, is that an improvised weapon?
Yes.
Like, how big are these corpses? Like, can I just pick one up and just, you ever just...
They range from small to medium size.
All right, I'm going to pick up a small one, and I'm just going to use it as an improvised weapon.
Just hit a dude with another dude.
Yeah, that definitely hits. Roll damage.
All right.
And this is going to be against both of them.
+2, and then on top of that, because I have my hands, which I'm going to take, it's going to be 1. Yeah, because it's only this turn. So that's 1d4. So I'll do that twice. So.
And then do you get rage damage on top of that?
Yes, it's 6 + 2, so it's 8.
Cool. Yeah, so you just come forward and you just grab one of the skeletons and ram it into one of the other skeletons, and both skeletons just shatter under the weight.
So awesome.
All right.
Okay, that brings us to...
Actually have a bonus action.
Oh, go for it.
So, because I was able to attack, I can use the opportunity to shove a unit. So I don't know how close I am to this grub here, but could I shove it?
Yes, but I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Is it for the pillar?
Yes.
Okay, so I actually this room is like the one room where I'm actually really like everything in this room works for this character, and I don't know why. So because of Shield Master, because of its harmful effect that targets me, I can add my shield's AC bonus to any dex saving throw.
Nice. And it's dangerous, so you're at advantage. So that's 14 + 2 is 16. Nice. Yeah. So this flame just comes at you, and like you just hold your shield up. Ha ha! No effect. And then you're gonna shove the Carrion Crawler.
Yeah. This room is like somehow Okay.
Tested athletics.
Athletics instead. So, do I use that strength save or do I use?
Yeah, that's fine. No,
athletics?
it's the same score for you because you're a barbarian. So 20 versus 21. Yeah, so it gets shoved. Yeah, that's not good for it. It does not like the experience of being shoved. It is now shoved. Okay. Let's see. Does the cackling continues? And the statue's eyes start to glitter and sparkle. I want everyone to roll a perception check. Everyone.
Oh boy. Oh, I thought I got a 22, and I was like, how did I get a 22 with a -2 in perception? Something ain't right.
Lyra and Celia, you guys see these glittering eyes, and you realize that these are super expensive gemstones. Celia, you also realize that these gemstones might be like the root of a magical spell, and that certain magical powers might be coming from these gemstones. But it's on the north side, so how do you get over there? I don't know. It's very stressful. Okay. Okay, I'm supposed to roll. Okay. You also hear suddenly some sort of churning of gears. It sounds like big stone things rotating, things that probably have moved for a long time. Celia, it's your turn.
Oh dear. Well, my initial thought is to cast Ice Knife, but that's not going to be very helpful here because it's going to melt. So.
Good point.
So instead, I'm going to do a magic missile.
Okay. On what?
And I'm aiming at the undead.
Okay. 2, 4, and 5. Absolutely. That's 11 damage. You want to all target that on one skeleton or divide it between 2?
Divide it between the 2.
Okay. What to what? 6 to 1 and 5 to the other, or 9 to 1 and 2 to the other, or 7 to 1 and 4 to the other?
6 to 1 and 5 to the other.
Okay. One takes 6. One takes 5. Love it. Yeah, so magic missiles just come shooting out of you and hit these skeletons. It sucks for them, but they seem okay. Okay. That your whole turn?
Yeah.
Okay. Then Skeleton starts charging towards you. Skeleton starts charging towards El Tigre. And more importantly, let me roll it again. Two more corpses rise up. Celia, Skeleton attacks you.
Cool.
Does a 13 hit?
That is my armor class.
Then the answer to that question is yes, it does hit. So you're trying to shoot magic missiles at it as it sort of lumbers awkwardly towards it. And you ram 2 of them into its chest, but it keeps coming towards you, and then it just sort of very placidly, without even realizing it, just sort of sticks its short sword into your chest, and you take 4 points of damage. And then against El Tigre, it does a 19 hit.
Yes.
5 points of damage as it comes towards you and just sort of overhand slashes at you. I think you're holding your shield and blocking the flame things, and it just sort of uses that as an excuse to attack you in the back dishonorably.
Is that 2 or 3?
We round down. We round in your favor all the time, so that's only 2 damage.
Okay.
Carrion Crawlers are up. The first one is going to yes, 1 damage right back to it. Thank you for reminding me. It is not good shape. Absolutely. Let's see. Carrion Crawlers attack turn. The first one is going to try to attack Lyra. Lyra, tentacle attack on you. 26 to hit.
Yeah.
I assume that hits.
Yeah.
How does the blood work in this circumstance? Does it protect from damage? Is that right? What it does?
It just negates some of the damage that it does, but
right.
It negates Any damage taken by the target is reduced by half the hit points sacrificed. So
Okay.
4.
So we'll say 4. Okay. So let's see how much damage you actually take from the bite. None. You take no damage from the bite, but I do still need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
Or be poisoned and paralyzed.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, no.
So, Lyra, I'm sad to say that you are poisoned and paralyzed. That's gotta suck.
I mean, she wasn't going to hit next turn, so she might as well have been paralyzed.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then it's gonna try and bite you.
Oh, that's dirty.
19 to hit.
Yeah.
And the bite does more damage than
Maybe I should have helped.
the tentacles.
I'm still
hard
worried
to
about
say
you.
sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about everyone. You guys figured out a very clever way to get into a room that may have been more advanced than we were hoping. Okay, 2d4 plus 2. So it would do 8 damage, but there's a blood ward up, so actually it only does 4.
Okay.
Tiss, you are being attacked.
Yeah.
Does a 24 hit you?
Yeah, it's...
Okay. I need you to roll a Constitution saving throw again.
Come on.
You're fine.
Okay.
But you take 5 poison damage. And then it's going to try and attack you again with its bite. But not at advantage because you're not poisoned. Ooh, 23.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
God.
Yeah, these things are
really
lethal.
luckily. I am rolling really luckily. 4 damage. I'm not rolling luckily
okay.
damage, which is good. But unfortunately, just there's 2 of these monstrosities trying to attack you.
Natural.
No.
It's a test, too.
Oh my god.
No, that makes sense.
But I got a nat 1.
Okay.
So
God.
you're not poisoned by that one. Ooh, but I got a 23 on my bite attack again. Wow. I'm so lucky.
Oh, it was 23 last time too. Yeah. Okay.
6 damage from the bite attack.
1, 2, 3,
I
4,
think
5, 6.
I think what's happening, Tiss, is that you have become like hyper aware of these tentacles. These tentacles are like a poisonous thing. I think the last time it hit you, you felt the poison try to course through your veins, and it kind of felt similar to the way that the monk when it hit you paralyzed you. And so I think what's happening is that you have like this sort of emotional reaction, this fear of the tentacles, and so you're like focusing so hard on getting the tentacles off that you're ignoring the things that are actually doing the damage.
Yeah,
because you don't want to be paralyzed.
Perfect sense. Yeah.
Lyra, you lose your turn. I need you to roll a Constitution saving throw. Okay, you are no longer poisoned or paralyzed. This is a much lower spell save DC than the monk, but you do still lose your turn.
Okay.
Which sucks. Tiss, you're up.
Okay. I'm assuming we're gonna leave right after this. I'm maybe gonna insist that we leave right after this, so I'm not gonna hold any bars. I'm gonna enlarge.
Okay.
Wait, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Unstable. Is it a good idea to?
Oh,
enlarge?
that's an excellent thought. I've said it, so I feel like I might be like being inauthentic or something if I go back on it. How does the floor look where I am?
It looks okay. Looks marble. It's nice. It's pretty.
Go for it.
Yeah, F it.
Worse.
I'll do it. Yeah, I'll enlarge.
Okay. You hear laughter from across the room from the statue seem to intensify.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll do that. I'll stow my shield for the moment. Essentially just to go two-handed with my long sword. And then I'll swing at the Carrion Crawler in front of me.
Okay. The one that's more damage or the one that's less damage?
The one that had attacked. Oh, I guess they both have. The one that's like closer to the pillar on my right.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Here we go. Long sword. Oh my god. Oh, has it been a minute?
No.
Okay. I mean, I'll try with
Roll
the
a
D4.
10 is not enough.
Yeah, 10 doesn't hit.
Enough, but 10 is not enough.
All right. That's. Oh, I have a bonus action.
Yep.
So.
No, you bonus action enlarged.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Okay. That's it.
Okay. Okay, that brings us to the top of the round again. So as of right now, this is sort of a funny thing that happens because it has no effect on you guys, although it would if you were on the other side of the thing. The statue's mouth that is opened starts pouring out this green gas into the chamber. And the gas seems heavy. It sort of sinks to the floor and starts flowing across the chamber. But here's the thing. Even if it could get to you, even if it could get as far as you with this round, which it can't, it would still fall into the chasm first. So that's a good thing. El Tigre, you're up.
All right. At this point, I think it's going to be necessary to take out one of the Carrion Crawlers at least a little bit better. So, how far apart are these? Like 5? These Carrion
Look at the gray squares are roughly 5 feet.
Okay, so would it be? Let's see. I can grapple and shove. If I use grapple as an attack. Let's see, and grapple gives it disadvantage. I'm going to attempt to grapple this grub.
Okay.
And that's going to be with advantage. And let's see.
Let's see how I do versus you. 19. I roll really well. You
20.
get a 20. You beat me.
All right.
So you go and grapple this grub. This grub is bigger than you, by the way. It's large to your medium. I don't know if that affects things, but like it is very squishy, and so you like sort of just hop on it and like bear hug it and squeeze it and start squealing as you grapple it.
Okay, and for that, I'm going to use my bonus action to shove this grub because it's 5 feet. That should be enough into the chasm, hopefully.
Yeah.
If I make it.
So let's roll this contested roll. I got a natural 1.
Oh wait, it's an acrobatics.
Sorry, it's acrobatics for you.
Okay.
No, athletics. It's athletics. Why are you rolling out? No, it's athletics. Stick to. Don't confuse me. Those two are too close. 15. Yeah. Great. 15 versus my 21. Unfortunately, so I do not fall in, but I think you do force me back a little bit, which forces me to make a dexterity saving throw or have the ground collapse underneath me. So let's see how I do on that. I succeed that. So the ground actually collapses here at the edge a little bit, but I just am able to scrabble back on desperately, clinging to the ground and using sort of like excreting a little sticky bit of a substance that just helps me cling to things. So you failed.
Okay. And can I do 1d4 because of my fist being on fire to the one I'm grappling?
Yes.
Okay. One damage, but 1 damage may be the difference between not and that. And I have to take my own damage too. So I take 3 half to 1.
Yeah.
7. All right. That's it for me.
You're up. This is looking so good a minute ago. Celia, you're up.
Just a question. It's not ordained, but a question. If I use mod earth on the floor, could I make a hole in the floor to the?
Oh, that's genius.
Yes,
that's
you could.
So genius.
Now here's the risk. If you do that, you are definitely destabilizing the floor slightly.
Yeah. Would I be able to make it specific enough to just impact one creature?
Yes. In fact, that's about all you can do. And the Carrion Crawlers are probably too large for you to affect that. The skeletons, absolutely. The Carrion Crawlers, that would be tricky because they're large, and you can only do a 5-foot square. It would take time mechanically to do that.
Okay. I'm not doing that though because I'm being attacked right now, so I'm gonna just hit it with my cord staff.
Oh my god, sorry, I just saw Twitch. Oh my god, Marcus!
Yeah, the battle map?
You're so awesome! Oh my god!
I'm happy with it. It looks great.
Oh my god, it looks great! Now I have to do a better job with the actual battle maps for you guys. Okay, yes, you're hitting a skeleton with your quarterstaff, is that what you said?
Yeah.
That definitely hits. Roll damage. Yeah, you crush a skeleton. Anything else you want to do on your turn?
No, because moving backwards would make an attack of opportunity, right?
No, there's no skeleton in melee with you.
Oh, of course, because I just killed it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It would actually, technically moving backwards pulls you out of range of the pillar. So it would prevent you from having to make a dexterity saving throw to avoid fire damage.
Yeah, so I'll move not too close to the edge, but I'll move that way.
So you see that little X there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Roll a perception check.
Ooh. I see something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sort of in the floor a little bit, like secreted there and sort of tricky to see. There is a stone chest.
Ooh. Okay.
And that's just there for you. It's so it's very weird layout. Like it's just this marble floor, and then like someone carved a very perfect rectangular hole in this marble floor that perfectly fits a stone chest that is filled into that rectangular hole in this marble floor. It's not on anything. It's like in the floor a little bit. So you'll have to like figure out how to pry it open. And you may not have the ability to do that right now. Let's see. Anything else you're doing on your turn? Or is that your whole turn? That's your whole turn, right?
That's it, yeah.
Cool. Let's see how many skeletons rise this turn.
Oh, fab.
4 more skeletons rise this turn.
Cool.
Let's see what the statue does this turn. Ooh. Yeah, you hear the clinking of gears. And the statue seems to lower. It seems to like almost sink into the floor a little bit. It's very weird looking from your angle over here. And I need everyone to make a Constitution saving throw. Everyone.
Okay, I'm back. Just in time too. All right.
I saw that statue, but I'm not sure whether my character would notice or not.
Your character. Sorry, what was your question?
I just want to know whether our movement set off the statue, or whether it was the pillars, or like, do I know what triggered it?
It seems to be doing things every round.
Yeah. If it couldn't see us, is what I'm saying. If it couldn't see us, would it stop?
I don't know. Hard to say.
Okay.
But let's see. 2 of you succeeded. Lyra and Celia, you did not. So you each take 6 electricity damage as the floor shocks everyone. But let's see. But that can be ignored by Altigre and by Tis. Skeletal attacks. A skeleton is going to attack Altigre. 16 to hit. I assume that misses.
Yep.
2 skeleton attacks against Tis.
Like
16 and 8. I presume those both miss as well.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Time for some Carrion Crawler attacks.
At least one has disadvantage. So.
Okay. So the first one is going to be, I'm going to do Lyra first because Lyra's sort of on her own right now. So Lyra, first attack against you. Does a 17 hit?
Yep.
I need a Constitution saving throw. So sorry, Lyra. You take no damage, again, because of the blood ward, but you are poisoned and paralyzed again.
That's brutal.
Hopefully after 2 turns of just being poisoned, it just, like, she has an immunity of it.
Okay, and then one of these Carrion Crawlers that is not grappled is going to attack Tis. A 14, I presume that misses.
Miss, yeah.
Then it tries to bite Tis. It gets a 16, I assume that misses too.
Yep.
Cool. And then the other one, it is grappled by Altigre, but Altigre is sort of on its back, grappling it. So it's still going to try and attack Tis. It's just at disadvantage to attack Tis. And it gets a natural 1. I assume that misses. And then let's see what happens with the second set of attacks. That would be an 11. I assume that misses as well. So with that, that is all of the evil Carrion Crawlers' turns. Lyra, please make a Constitution saving throw. I'm so sorry, my dear.
Lyra.
Nope, you're still poisoned and paralyzed. I've got to suck. And Tis, let's see what you can do.
Let's see what I can do. God.
Yeah.
Am I just... I have more than what I'm using. I can do stuff. What am I...
Somebody needs to take out that statue, by the way.
Yeah, okay.
Celia, I think that's going to be on you.
So the pillars and the statue are doing things separately. Like they're doing... the pillars glow blue, and then the zombies rise, right?
Yeah.
Does it seem to be just one pillar?
No, it's both of the southernmost pillars. It's the southernmost two pillars.
Okay.
Pillar. These are both things. This is a fire pillar. This would be a fire pillar, but it is broken. This would be a fire. This is a fire pillar, but it's broken. This is a fire pillar that's broken. You have no idea what the northern pillars do.
Okay. This is a risk. I'm gonna try though. I assume I'm holding my longsword for the time being.
Yeah.
But I think I would think Dreamer's Thorn is on my person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could I use it just by like gripping it, not like wielding it and taking it out, but gripping it and then tapping it against something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I'll expend 2 charges. I'll tap one of the southernmost pillars with it.
Okay.
Expend 2 charges, and it should dispel any illusion or enchantment.
Okay. Let me check on this. Let me pull up my text on Dreamer's Thorn for 1 second. I just gotta read it.
Yeah.
Okay. So before you do this, because I really want to be careful here about making sure that it doesn't feel cheap and busted and things like that. Can you roll an Arcana check for me?
Sure. Yeah.
This is before Tis does this.
There we go.
Okay.
Not bad.
I am very comfortable telling you in advance, before you do this, that Tis would know that would not work. Because this dispels enchantment and illusion magics, and this is necromancy.
Okay, perfect. How much longer do I have on Bless?
You still 5 to 6 rounds.
Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna slash at the Carrion Crawler in front of me.
Yeah, slash at him.
Hey.
23 definitely hits. Do you want to pump anything into? You get an extra D4 immediately, of course.
Yeah. Oh, right, from enlarge. I'd also like to expend 1 Divine Smite.
Excellent. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So that would be 1d4 and 2d8. 1d4.
9.
2d8.
Okay, that's 14 damage. So you slash at it with your massive longsword, and oops, sorry, let's actually, I think it's a different one, pardon me. You slash at it with your massive longsword. Perfect. So you slash it with your massive longsword, and you see it sort of squeal a little bit as you sort of slice into it, and you see like this weird glowing goo just sort of pus out of it, and then it like immediately turns like gray and sort of sludge-like matter, and it turns towards you and squeals, and it looks like it has vendetta against you in particular. Across the hall, the statue itself starts to glow with sort of this dark glory of horror, and it just sort of exudes this toxic wave of energy at everyone. And I think that wave of energy, before we even have a saving throw for it, is where we are going to cut today's episode in a critical moment. Just everyone scared of everything and possibly about to die. Find out.
I mean, technically, okay, so as a last-ditch resort, I know that I can live for one specific reason. So, because damage is halved, the maximum damage from...
Not all damage is halved. Some types of damage is halved. Oh, but bludgeoning is halved, yeah.
Yeah, so... And it's... So I could literally just say, you know what, fuck it. Just, like,
dive.
Jump down the iron crack. And, like, because if you think about it, right, the maximum amount of damage it could do is
60.
Is 10d6. So 60, right? Halved, right? That means that I'm going to survive.
Yep, as long as you still have above 30 hit points.
Just do like a giant luchador.
Yeah, do a power bomb
Yeah.
on the floor. I love this room. Like, despite the fact that we might die here, it's a really interesting encounter to me.
Excellent. That's the idea. Let's do some EXP stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got to mark some experience points. This is actually an interesting take. So let's do the easy stuff first. I have 3 dead skeletons. Okay. Right. And I don't have any other monsters that you've killed, if that's a fair assessment, right? Because we spent most of the time talking. But I do have some encounters that you have circumvented. So let me just start giving you some experience for that. Obviously, the monk conversation gets you some experience points. Perius's conversation gets you some experience points. Buying drinks for the bar is going to get you some experience points. Talking to the bar is getting you some experience points. Trying to convince them to go against Hubert Songshore. Even though you failed, you tried, right? It's the effort that gets you experience points. And then the big thing, you guys don't know this, but finding this room is a lot of experience points, actually. So let's see how you guys did. Yeah. Oops.
It would be so funny if we leveled up just before we died.
I will get an extra hit dice. So.
Well, I don't know where you guys are at, and don't tell me. But you get 1,220 experience, most of which was finding this room.
We did well.
Yeah.
What does that put you guys at?
I have 6814.
Yeah. So.
You have 6814?
Yeah.
Congratulations, guys. You all level up.
Yeah.
So I think, narratively speaking, what this represents, and I'm quite comfortable with this, is that sort of experience where you're watching like a movie and like like everyone's fighting and they're on their last breath and everyone's fighting for it, and then suddenly like they just get a little better and they get more competent and they're more capable of handling things.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're gonna experience right here. So yes, do level up between streams. If you want to chat with me about what you get when you level up or work things out and things like that, you should feel free to do so and all that good stuff, because I am happy to do that with you.
Quick question, can I take a feat instead of my ability score improvement?
You should be going to level 5, I think.
Level 5? Oh, shit. I was level 4. So, okay, cool.
Well, you were level 4. You should be becoming level 5.
No, I was like level 3 before. So I'm going to level 4.
Let me double check that. That doesn't sound right. 47 health? There's no way you could have 47 health at level 3.
D12? Oh, yeah, good point.
Yeah, no, you were at level 4. You just had the wrong number marked or something.
So our hit point max will go up, but our current health will stay the same, right?
It'll go up by the amount that you roll for your hit point.
Yeah, just the max though, not our actual health.
No, your actual health.
Oh, okay, awesome.
You get healthier right now.
Yeah,
you become healthier in the moment.
That's very good to hear.
Actually, let's roll hit dice right now. Yeah. So Jack, you gain 12 hit points, and your maximum goes up by 12. Lyra, let's roll. Let's have you roll your hit die.
Plus con?
That already includes it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we rolling the actual hit dice? Or?
Yeah, you can just click the word hit die.
Oh, okay.
It does. It's the same roll. Nice. You gain 5 more hit points. That's the average.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Emily, you get 6 more hit points. That's slightly below the average for you. Actually, that's also the average technically. And then Spicy, Marcus.
12.
Nice, 12 more hit points.
Hey.
Gotta take every hit point that you can get. Excellent. Level 5 is a big level in ability level for some people. Jack and Marcus, I believe the big thing that you guys get is an extra attack every round.
That's right, yeah.
That's your big thing. You just get to make 2 attacks around.
Ooh.
For Celia, you get 3rd level spells, if I remember correctly, which is like huge. You've already learned a couple of them, like that you purchased that you got from the book. Again, those can include blood magic spells as well as other things. And you can get others in addition to that, right? You get 2 for free when you level up. Don't forget that. That's separate than the ones that you learned from the scroll. And third level spells are where wizards start to become really powerful. Also worth pointing out, Celia, at this level, your cantrips do double damage that they used to. So as of now, so like produce flame instead of doing 1d8, we'll do 2d8 or whatever it is.
Should I change that mechanically on my cantrips or?
Yeah. So if you have your character is set to be level 5 on the character sheet, theoretically it should do it automatically. I think. So let me check your character sheet. Are you? Yeah, you're level 5 right now. It should theoretically work. Can you actually just let's just test? Can you click a cantrip for me?
I can. Yeah.
Yep. So that's 2d6. You can see down there. And if you mouse over it, it's 2d6. So nice. Yes. So I programmed it correctly. So that's pretty good for you. Don't forget to find your third level spells that you want. The smart thing to do, although you don't have to do it, but the smart thing to do is to take ones that you didn't discover in the tomb. And then, of course, for rogues, just in case you were feeling left out over there, my dear Asma/Lyra. At level 5, you get probably one of the most incredible defensive abilities in the world. You get the ability called Uncanny Dodge, which is basically whenever someone attacks you and you can see them attack you, so it's not a surprise or sneak attack, you can use your reaction to halve the damage. So you just take half damage anytime someone attacks you, basically. But you can only do that once per round.
Okay.
So you're not like a tank. You're not like the barbarian who takes half damage from every attack. You're a dexterous person. And so like there's a little bit of like a game of like, okay, I'm going to be attacked this round 4 times. How many of those are going to hit me? Probably 3 of them. Okay, if all 3 of them are going to hit me, which one's the one's going to do the most damage? I got to have that one. But you don't know,
Okay.
because you have to do it as it comes up.
Cool.
Yeah, so you get that huge defensive ability. I think your sneak attack die goes up. Yeah, your sneak attack die goes up as well. So you're up to 3d6. So all good things. Guys, that was a lot of fun. You're in a crazy room in a crazy tomb. Guys, discovering this room and figuring out how to get here was nothing short of brilliant. But the room is scary, and that is the thing that can happen sometimes. When you guys are very smart, sometimes you uncover things that are particularly scary.
Yeah.
So, bear that in mind. Okay. Anyone have any questions?
Not really. I'm just looking at level 6 too, because once I level up, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Are you still thinking about multiclassing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's tough because like multiclassing doesn't really add anything unless I were to use weapons, and it's hard because I don't want to use weapons. And
wait,
wait,
hold on. What would you multiclass? Oh, sorry, don't use weapons. Your character doesn't use weapons, but why does multiclassing not add anything?
Well, specifically because I don't think anything like gives as much of a benefit as just like going straight for the path of the totem warrior. Because the reason why is because I want to go for the 14th level Totemic Tomb for Bear. While you're raging, any creature within 5 feet of you that's hostile to you has disadvantage on attack rolls and targets other than you or another character with his people. So essentially, the reason why is I'll be able to tank a little bit more effectively with that for others. So, and that's, but like the downside to this 6th level one, that's why I'm having such a little bit of an issue with it, is basically I could double my carrying capacity, and it's the best one that I would be able to get,
Yeah, I mean, that seems reasonable. I still would consider, I'm getting a lot of feedback. Is that just me?
No, that's me too. I don't know why.
Okay. We're having some sound issues, guys. Don't worry about it. I would still consider a couple levels of monk. I think monk level 1 is huge for you. Because just going from 1d4 to a 1d6 is huge. With your melee attacks. With your unarmed attacks. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, well, we're going to get out of here because we're having some sound issues and all that good stuff, but we hope you enjoyed the show. I had a fun time running the show. This is such a great cast of people. I am so lucky that I get to play with these awesome people. Thank you all so much for playing some Dungeons & Dragons with me. It's always fun. As always, please take care of each other. Wash your hands, in particular, right now. Also, practice social distancing, avoid others in person, and instead spend your time online watching people play Dungeons and Dragons. That seems like a good use of your time. Particularly, I recommend our channel because we're a lot of fun and all that good stuff. Please follow and or subscribe. We always appreciate anyone who follows and subscribes. You guys are the best. And from that perspective, please do not forget to call your cat and feed your mom. Bye, everyone.
Peace out.